Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Record the Apocalypse. This is Cheska Hans. It is September 25th, 2025. Apparently, the Taco administration is just outright executing Venezuelan boats suspected of carrying narcotics without like a due process or even investigation, and it has nothing to do with whatever grudge Taco has against the Venezuelan president. Nor, I'm sure it's a coincidence that a lot of people sent to El Salvador death prison were Venezuelan immigrants. Anyway, I was debating whether or not to stream this for a while, but it looks like we're getting a whole damn plot here. It's not just some miniature episode of Walpurgis Night, so... And this time, like I said, I am doing a solo one. So let's go. Really, that's all I have? As you can see, I've got some guys already. Oh my god, that I can use. Who's got good synchronization? Pequod Captain. First mate of the Pequod. Hook office. And La Mancha Mountain Priest. Let's go.
가스 점화! 엔진 시동!
I was exploring Lobotomy Corporation branch when my consciousness sinks into the depths. The sense of cognition, itself a concept without form, floats in the shadow of an ever-widening river, swept up its currents to nowhere. We ran to an abnormality, but Basao told us that Honyon's Lobotomy Corp branch should be free of any abnormalities. Maybe that's why there's no railways this time. Alright, so this is taking place canonically, like in a timeline. The abnormality, which had appeared out of nowhere, was more otherworldly than any we've encountered so far in our journey, and deep blue. It was fathomlessly blue. It seemed to a pool that endlessly drew us into itself. Just as I was about to recall this abnormality, a myriad of sceneries and a flood of incalculable thoughts crashed into my mind like wild waves before ebbing away from its shores. I was already lost in a drift somewhere within my own consciousness when I realized this. Just how long am I going to be adrift? The sensation of my own consciousness floating away is quite the unfamiliar one. I floated about in that strange state for a while. Okay? An unfamiliar voice seizes my aimlessly drifting consciousness. Are you Dante? The fog of my vision clears as a voice breaks through the waves, and a concerned expression comes into view. Yes, I am. Ah, what a relief. Gregor, I think Dante has come too. So who are... I was about to ask further questions to this stranger with a particularly long, camel-like ears, but... I felt the drowsiness coursing back the terrifying memories of the dream, rendered me unable to speak. I had to get a hold of myself. After an indeterminate amount of time had passed, I barely managed to wake myself from slumber to get a grasp of my surroundings, only to find myself surrounded by more unfamiliarities. There was that stranger from earlier, sitting atop of a rock and silently taking in the sights. A young girl who probably saved my life. Wait, so were those animal ears after all? Okay, that's not important right now. Have to prioritize figuring out just where in the world I ended up in. So where? We're standing by the Iberian coastline. How are you feeling? A little out of it, but I'm okay otherwise. Iberia, huh? Yes, we're in Iberia. Well, given that we're next to an ocean, maybe I've drifted all the way to U-Corp's Great Lake. Iberia was an unfamiliar name, but That was all I had to go on, given that the city was still full of more unknowns than knowns to me. I radioed your colleagues when you briefly woke up earlier. They'll be here any minute. I see. Wait, my colleagues? You must have run into the sinners then. The fog in my mind immediately cleared as soon as I realized that the sinners were all nowhere to be seen. Sinners? I think so. Ran into them earlier. They're looking all over the place with someone with a clock for their head. It was a pretty unique description, so I could tell right away that you were the person they were looking for. So this clock head does come in handy. Wait, does she understand him? Manager Bud. Dante. I'd woken up in an unfamiliar place to an unfamiliar face. In the midst of all those around sense of displacement, the faces that appeared before me were certainly a sight for sore eyes. Gregor, hello. Miss Rabbit here told me she found you unconscious by the ocean. Phew. I came as fast as I could and... oh boy. I was worried that something bad might have happened. Glad to see you're doing fine. Were you lost at sea? I... don't know. Well, I do think I'm fine though. I guess not having any way to drink water is finally come in handy. You should go get that checked out just in case. Wait, your head's waterproof, right? Gregor takes a moment to steady his breathing, then mutters a casual quip as he lights a cigarette. Well, doesn't seem that concerned. Maybe we're not actually in that much danger. So, what happened? Where are we? Do you remember entering the Labami Corp branch Shi-Chun told us about? Yeah. Yeah, we ran into a new abnormality and got sucked into it before we even had a chance to do anything. Man, I really thought that was it for us. Especially with you getting sucked in there too, Manager Bud. But when we came to, despite waking up with our faces down some ditch, we're all fine without a scratch. Though it was quite a mess when we realized you'd gone missing. I wanted to search for you immediately, but it took a while before we got the better bearing of where we were. So we're not at U-Corp's Great Lake? Some of us consider that to be a distinct possibility, but it's unlikely. Ishmael was really certain that we were not in District 21. She did concede that we might be in an unknown area within the Great Lake of the outskirts, but that doesn't really seem likely either, given what that rabbit-eared lady there said. The outskirts region of the Great Lake. I met all kinds of people from over Terra, but I never met anyone referred to the Iberian Sea that way. Terra? Iberia? As I found myself puzzled by these unfamiliar terms, a very obvious question suddenly struck me. Speaking of which, who are you? Huh? Really? You fellows haven't introduced yourselves to each other yet? It's just a lot to take in. It's understandable. You did just wake up from a pretty harrowing experience. She's, actually, would you do the honors yourself? I'm Amiya, the leader of the Rhodes Island. Please, just call me Amiya. I'm Dante, manager at Limbus Company. I know I'm late, but thanks for saving my bacon. It seems that this Rodeo Island is a pretty big corporation, but... Gregor trails ominously and scratches his head before continuing with some mild trepidation. Can Amiya understand us? This young lady with the rabbit ears doesn't know what the head is at all. As far as I know, there aren't any organizations in Terra with the same characteristics as the one Mr. Gregor explained. At least not with a name like the Head. Sorry, it's Rhodes Island, not Rodeo. Sorry, Gregor's kind of bad with names. So, what you're saying is that we're not in the city anymore. It'd be weird for any higher up at these huge corporations knowing less about the Head than we do, let alone be completely clueless about it. Oh, maybe we tumbled into a previously undiscovered zone at the outskirts of the ruins. Probably. Or maybe we found ourselves in a completely different world. Their conjecture is correct. We're in way bigger trouble than I thought. This wasn't like the time we accidentally stranded ourselves in the outskirts via a door in the corridor. Amiya stared at me with some concern, as though she felt my distress. I think I could draw a connection to something else that's happening here. Really? Yes, she does understand us! Recently, anomalous signs and events have been occurring in Iberia ever since the mysterious dimensional door appeared at sea. And it's been said that this dimensional door is connected to something very, very distant Just something we never observed before, so... Seems reasonable to theorize that the dimensional door is how we managed to cross over to this world. I really would have appreciated Faust's input. Where all the Arceras go anyway? Bit late on the uptake to be gawking for the Arceras now, don't you think? There are a settlement near here, where they're all helping out with various odds and ends of the village. We'll take a turn searching for Dante, of course. No. Oh, that noise. Ugh. You know, I never thought about how difficult it would be to search for someone when we're like fish out of water. Man, barely even got a wink of sleep since yesterday. Everyone's gotta be really tired then. So it's just you two out here for now? No, Ishmael and Esau are the other half of the search party. Just happen to be the last group in the rotation. We must be searching somewhere else to find you, Manager Blood. Whew. We got the news early thanks to Amiya's comms gear, but the other team didn't. Yeah, we got lucky. Your team, well, we don't have any way to get in touch with them, so they'll probably continue until their search until their shift is done. Oh, we're talking about that village you mentioned earlier? Uh-huh. Right, you've not been there, huh? I guess it's a bit off the beaten path. Well, we're going to rendezvous with the other sinners anyway, so let's head to the village for now. Something seemed to pique Amiya's interest, and she fell into a contemplative silence, before carefully speaking up. I would like to accompany you there. Sure, I don't see why not. You helped us find Manager Bud, and, more importantly, you seem to know a lot more about this place than we do. I don't actually know Iberia that well either, but I should be able to be of some help. They closed their borders and practically locked out any foreign influences from affecting them, but I did get a briefing before the mission. Closed borders, huh? Then how'd you get in, Miss Amiya? We followed Dr. Kaltseat's directions and illegally crossed the country border. Illegally? Oh, does that mean you crossed the border without obtaining any permission, Amiya? We had to cross the border somehow and investigate how and why the dimensional door came to be. Is it normal for pharmaceutical companies to be doing that? Large pharmaceutical companies often dispatch their agents for missions. Yes, Rhodes Island is, in its essence, a pharmaceutical company researching treatments for people infected with oropathy. We also work to prevent and assist in management of various situations that can occur in high-risk areas. High-risk areas, huh? Wait, what about your companions? I doubt you came all the way here on your own. That's, we were supposed to split up due to certain forces that were in pursuit. Wait, stop! Amiya's ears twitched as she came to a stop and began scanning the surrounding area. And then, there! As we stood about confused, Amiya noticing something, pointing towards the seashore hidden behind large and cragged rock formations. What are we supposed to do? Huh? Then we saw someone wielding a lengthy greatsword, bickering with two familiar faces. Again, move. You're in the way. You needn't worry, as you do. We have had ample experience battling monsters who are much like them. Listen, I'm not worried. It's... Come on, better to have 3 fires than 1, right? Besides, you're the first person ran into out here, so we've got a lot of questions to ask. Isan! Ishmael! Dante, you are unharmed. And here I was, getting ready for a 3 days long search. What a relief. We were all really worried that we might never be able to find you. We managed to find them thanks to help from Miss Amiya here. Amiya? Are you two acquainted? Not a good time for a union. It could wait until after we take out the sea monsters. Scotty, are those organisms the Seaborns Dr. Kaltseat mentioned? They're the sea terrors, to be specific. Less sophisticated ones among them. And they're probably here for me. Sea terrors? Hear a sticky noise of something viscous slithering against the rocks. When I turned to face the origin of the unsettling noise, I smelled a heavy, wet scent of brine. Let me see something real quick. At the end of my gaze awaits strange monsters, unlike distortions, unlike abnormalities, unlike anything I'd ever seen. It's as though the sea itself is encroaching on the land. I was almost certain we weren't at the Great Lake, but I'm not so sure anymore. Her experiences with the thick scent of brine at the Great Lake must have put her in a wary mood, as Ishmael seemed to be a lot more apprehensive about these monsters than anyone else. Do you think those creatures could be whales or mermaids? I don't know. The Great Lake and the outskirts are full of unexplored mysteries, after all. Dante, what do your senses say? It's unclear. I say the closest comparison I could make is with the whales, but even that's not conclusive. Huh. More enemies on the horizon! We should prepare for battle! Doesn't seem like we can talk things out with them, though. So, let's take him out!
インバスカンパニーの皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
내가 시범을 보이지.
敵に対して大きな打撃を与えました。
귀찮게 끌지 말지.
That's nervous impairment.
エリートオペレーター並みの腕前です。
At 30 seconds, I'm staggered. Ooh, so we gotta be careful of that. 12.
이리로 와.
저놈을 추적해.
効果的な攻撃でした。このままいけば敵を食い止められます。
총원 불격. 잘했군. 한 놈도 남지 않을 때까지 기세가 수그러지는 반격의 기회다.
エリートオペレーター並みの腕前です。
총원 불격. 이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨있지. 보았나? 적은 이렇게
ドク
진리가
ター
됐다.
のように
우리의
優れた
확고한
式ですね。
승리가 눈앞에 있다. 이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨있지.
빨리 지구 가죠. 기름도 나오자는 놈이구려.
とても効果的でした。敵は深手を負っています。
총원 불격. 잘했군. 한 놈도 남지 않을 때까지 지금을 반복한다. 쉴 새는 없다.
All main enemies have retreated to the sea. Good work, everyone. Do you think I had to deal with anything remotely like this outside the Great Lake? You can say that again. It would take us a whole day if this Scotty character didn't occupy the other half while Miss Rabbit helped us from a distance. As we were catching our breath after the battle, I heard a brief hum. When I turned to look at a source, I saw Scotty glaring at me with palpable alarm. Strange people who transform. And the head of a clock? I guess they're both technically true. Well, it's nothing more than theory at this point. I think they have a lot to do with that dimensional door we're supposed to be investigating. Nice to meet you, I guess? I only hear a ticking clock. Oh, okay, so Amiya's got something going on. Oh, that's because only us Hinners can hear Dante's voice. Huh? Hmm? What's up? Oh no, I'm just wondering how Miss Amiya can seemingly understand Dante. Yeah, what's going on here? Yeah, it completely flew over my head that I didn't even question how weird this is. Their voice sounds like a ticking clock to me, too, but I don't know, it's almost like I can sense what they're trying to say, what kind of emotion they're trying to convey. Your explanation reminded me of the Blue Boy in Sinclair's past, but I didn't quite feel the uncanny sensation from Mia that I felt from them. So she could read me kind of like how Vergilius can, I guess. Well, I don't think it's a bad thing. That's true. It's been a bit of a hassle to always need Faust or Honlu to translate for you, Dante. I'd like to know how exactly she can understand Dante, but I don't think we got the luxury of time to sit down and figure this out. So, are we heading back? Sounds like a plan. It's not like we know anywhere else we can go to, right? Oh, Miss Rabbit here will be tagging along too. She said she'd help us find our way back. I'm glad to be working with you two also, Miss Ishmael, Mr. Honlu. Took the words right out of my mouth. You've already helped us plenty, and you clearly know a lot more about this place than we do. The journey is long. Perhaps embarking on it ere the sun's fall would be wise. How long's the journey? No idea. It's not like we have a clock with us. I do know that it's not very far, though. We just need to walk along the coastline for a bit. Scotty quietly points in my direction. Oh, Dante can't tell us the time because they're not on time. Then why the clock head? I didn't exactly choose to get myself a clock-shaped head. I looked away from Scotty's inquisitive eyes, which were quite solidly fixed on my head. The coasts of Iberia are hardly good places for people to live. Those things can go anywhere in this world, but they thrive at places that meet the ocean. So how did people manage to build a village at a place like this? The monsters are called Seaborns, or Sea Terrors, yes. While it's true that they pose certain difficulties, they were hardly the kind of monsters with the strength to bring scourge and drive out the local populace. Don't judge them based on that brief skirmish. She's just telling us to be on our guard, right? Scotty can be a bit curt, but she's not a bad person. I don't think she said anything wrong. Nothing rules out the existence of stronger variants of these creatures being out there. Scotty's concern only served to fan my curiosity, but something about her expression communicated that I probably shouldn't pry, so I quietly quickened my pace as we walked to the village.
이번엔 성적이 좋았군. 하지만 머나먼 고래에 닿기 위해서는 아직도 부족하다. 다시 가스터빈을 점화한다. 그리고
Village of the Dead Lighthouse. This hardly looks like a village. It's more like the ruins of one, isn't it? It doesn't seem like they've done any proper upkeep to the place. Not in a while, at least. They're not really here. They're really here. They're really here, living together. The strange buildings tell the stories of former prosperity from a bygone era. Our Faro Muerto entrance. Our steps leave no footprints on the wet, muddy ground. On it, I see a rotting sign marked with the name Faro Muerto. Everywhere I look in this village, I see evidence of long, silent abandonment. We don't see these kinds of abandoned-looking ruins often in the city either. Well, yeah, there's always someone or something out there waiting to capitalize on that free real estate, be it a syndicate or a corporation picks it up. Better than this, at least. So where are the sinners? Ah, there's a clearing down there, where... We were entrapped betwixt the twain of great ships, narrowing winds against our sail. Ooh. And that is when young Ishmael boomed, her command most resonant. Say no more. I didn't even have to try search for him. That unmistakably sonorous and familiar voice, echoing triumphantly between the empty buildings. That's Don Quixote's voice when she's sharing her adventurous tales. There she was, standing atop a low podium like an actor on stage, regaling a group of people in rags with tales of her adventures like a traveling thespian. Answers, ye dogs! Oarsmen! 'Tis the moment I, Ishmael, the first man of vessel Mephistopheles, shall navigate there! Stop, hold on. Just what do you think you're doing? Young Ishmael, underhand my mouth, for I was just about to regale them with the most fantastic tale adventures of the great life. Manager Esquire! Verily, thou hast returned Manager Esquire safely in tow! What? They found Clockhead? A burning clock for a head? When I was a child, I heard a story about the legendary Sarkaz with the flaming head. Why would someone like that visit our humble village? Weather exterior may carry elements that inspire fear in some. There's no cause for alarm. Yeah, they might look like that, but they're Dante, our manager, and the rest are... Oh, hello. I'm sorry, who are you two? They're two very nice people who helped us find Dante. This is Miss Emilia, leader of Rhodes Island. And this is Miss Gotti, their operator. They'll be coming along with us for a little while. With us? We believe that the dimensional door, which we at Rhodes Islands are investigating, has something to do with why you suddenly woke up here in Iberia. As Emilia was bringing the sinners up to speed, the villagers, who were staring at us curiously, approached us. Did our conversation manage to convince them that we're not a threat? I sure hope so. Are you... you are friends of our saviors. Saviors? Verily, 'tis quite the grand title, yet that is indeed the word by which we addressed. To be more precise, by saviors. They're referring only to Faust and Otis. Faust gave me a light nod when we made eye contact, but I could tell her lips were drawing a very, very subtle smiling arc. So I'm guessing something did happen. They were quite mistrustful upon our initial arrival. What business do outsiders have here? Well, they're for the Inquisition. Oh no, what do we do? After all we went through to get here. Calm yourselves, everyone. None of them carry what appears to be the scriptures or lamps. Let's first try to see who they are. Man, I don't get they're gonna trust us anytime soon. They're all old curmudgeon. Less STNC than PTSD. Can't do that, Ryoshu. Can't pillage the storage pots. Depots. It looks like they already have it hard enough as it is. I don't think STNC is a good way to get started either. Should we just find help elsewhere? Look how thin their arms are. I don't think they're in any shape to help us out. Perhaps we could inquire as to our whereabouts ere we are to decide our lodging. Well, landscape is certainly reminiscent of U-Corps. I don't really recall seeing or learning about any place that looks like this, though I can't say I've been to every corner of U-Corp. Ask again, what business do outsiders have here? Their fingers are tightening around the grips of their weapons. Prolonged silence will most likely turn this into a hostile encounter. Can't have that. We're for Olympus Company. We're Fixers of Justice. Yeah, that fixers. Oi, don't you know when you keep it down? Fixers? That over there. It's a ship blueprint, isn't it? Are you looking to repair a vessel by any chance? All these construction materials seem to suggest so. Chief, this does not concern you. It's not something a mere outsider can understand. Curious. Never seen an energy source like this before. Have you run the test to rule out any stability issues? It seems that to power the heat exchanger via some method comparable to utilization of fusion energy. Have you any thoughts on this, Miss Faust? The general design structure is somewhat old-fashioned, but there certainly are inspired parts to this design, particularly with the usage of the core energy source. With the stability, while stability need be further studied, this technology seems to be incredibly energy efficient. You identify all that by merely glancing at this blueprint? You must be the village chief, then. If so, I have a proposition for you. Please, I'm married. Not that kind of proposition. In return for assisting with our ship repair, we were promised a ride on their vessel. Miss Faust has theorized perhaps by going out to sea, we'd be able to find a way to return to whence we came. Does that mean we can find a way back somewhere out there in the sea? Nothing is certain yet, Dante. At this moment, we're working based on a hunch. A hunch? Sensing the implicit omen in her choice of words, I slowly turned around to look at Faust, who nodded solemnly in response. If we're really in a different world, even our Gesellschaft has to be. No issues were encountered in the repair process. Faust smiles faintly as she looks around. Then she pulls me in by the hems. She whispers in a low voice. My connection to Gesellschaft is currently operating at a suboptimal level, Dante. So it's still connected, at least. Indeed, it is. However, even exchanges of simple information are taking up dozens of hours by the current calculation. Is this a warp train situation? Because we're in a different dimension? The cause should be identical. We'll be connected to an unidentified, unpredictable dimension. However, Faust is aware that our pathway to our original dimension is yet to close this time. Unlike the situation back aboard the warp train. So to get back to where we came from, indeed, traveling through the pathway is the most feasible solution. And from that, you came up with a whole plan to repair the ship and sail out to sea? Yes, well, I am also a genius, after all. Amiya conjectured that we probably came through a dimensional door of sorts. Looks like that dimensional door might be what Faust is looking for. With high likelihood, yes. At least there's a way back. I find myself calming down a little. Oh, speaking of which, when do you think you can wrap up the repair job? Fortunes have it, the majority of the time-consuming parts of repair have already been completed by the locals. It should take us more than a day or two to get its core parts shape again, Executive Manager. We'll be staying here a few more days, huh? How'd you manage last night? Well, like I said earlier, we keeping ourselves busy looking for you this whole time. We took turns helping with the repairs and resting, but I doubt any of us got a proper night's rest. Still, we were cold thanks to the villagers kept the fire going for us all night. Not to mention how they helped us tell with the local map they drew us. Also, Chief handed us this earlier. What's it for? Ah, looks like a sack to collect water. Give it here. I know how to get that installed. Must be to repay Faust and Miss Oza's efforts at repairing their ship. Yet, the service they provide is certainly quite generous, even taking the transactional nature into account. They're really giving us the best treatment they can, huh? As for food, we actually fill ourselves some cookies and bread Rotary keeps in our pockets. Didn't want to eat their food supply when they're already pretty tight, you know. She carries enough cookies and bread for 12 people. They did offer some nosh, those dried fish things, but we refuse. Ain't taking food from the needy. Don't concern yourselves so much with our hospitality. You have done more than enough to earn your keep. I turned around and looked at the source at low rumbling voice. I saw an old man in an outfit that seemed to distinguish itself amongst the other villagers. There you are, Chief. Is there a place for us to stay tonight? We do have a place to shelter from the misty humidity at the very least. There is an empty building there, so feel free to occupy it for the night. Oh, are you sure? I mean, I don't mind sleeping in the streets myself. Hey, speak for yourself. I've been looking forward to sleeping with the roof over my head since like yesterday. You'll catch cold sleeping in elements in this environment, which is fine by me for the rest of you. We cannot afford to have the executive manager or honored guests suffer that fate. Honored guests? Heard what happened from the four who left in search of the executive manager. First, I'd like to begin by imparting my infinite gratitude for you for finding and rescuing the executive manager. I hear that you are a leader of a pharmaceutical company. This acquaintance shall certainly come in handy in case our stay becomes significantly prolonged. Right, she's probably associated with surgery and pharmaceuticals. I'm just surprised by her boldness to say something so materialistic when they're standing right there. Can I stay at your village too, Chief? The village chief took a brief glance at the hems of her right wrist and nodded. Welcome to Far Morto. Welcome to stay for as long as you want. And please, do let me know if you find ourselves without food. Our food supply may be tight, indeed. We have enough to share with those who help repair our vessel. You better not go back in word later. What kind of local delicacies await? Dried fish like they were eaten earlier, maybe? Hey, Chief. What is it? Just how are you surviving out here by the sea? Perhaps the question of how we are surviving may be somewhat misdirected. For you're only pursuing every possible avenue because we must survive. The chief responds to Scotty's perceived hostility with a hearty smile. After leaving some firewood for a night, he left. I'm going. Can't learn much more from here. Huh? You going somewhere at this hour? Scotty, does this have something to do with the coast? Remember what you said before we got to the village. Something about how coasts are hardly good places to live in. Dante wants to know if this has something to do with the coast. You. Do you understand the Aegir language? Aegir language? No. Dante, Scotty just spoke in Aegirian. What? I couldn't understand the words Scotty and the chief's conversation because I don't speak Aegirian. It may only be that there was some lexical similarity between one of the Sage languages and language Scotty spoken in for them to comprehend the meaning. Weird coincidence. Anyway, I have some things to look into. Something you're all too slow to see. You still have to tell us about later. Please remember that you're not on a solo mission, Scotty. This is a team effort from Rhodes Island. Will do. Scotty nodded lightly before leaping off into the night, out of our sights. I'm kind of worried. She's not the best with people, but she's also pretty thoughtful. She'll be okay. Ah, should we head inside? The sun's starting to set already. Oh yeah, we could probably just pick an unlit building and stay the night there, right? Trying our best to ignore the mood that was starting to turn awkward, we made our way into a nearby unoccupied building. Wata. Terra. Walk past a few narrow buildings and remnants of the narrow buildings before we came across a hall large enough to house all 15 or so of us. Okay, now we're ready. With the curtains of the window removed, the smoke has an exit. Oh, I thought we were doomed to shudder ourselves to sleep with the soaking wet firewood and all. I had no idea that worked. We just have to get a small fire going underneath it until the wood dries up and catches fire. The downside being all the smoke. It's clear that she has some field experience, unlike some fools I know. I shan't sit here and let her carry the burden of labor alone. Bequeath upon me thine ingredients, young Rodion, or I shall conjure thee a pot of special fixture soup. You're making soup with cookies and jelly? No, you're not getting anywhere near the kitchen again. Not after we cooked it last time. Well, I must admit to a certain level of interest. As many of our fellows' viscera are often racked with intense agony upon ingesting dishes of your making, perhaps it would be wiser that we save the occasion for a safer environment. Right, don't you remember? We agreed to leave cooking to Mare or Oti if we're in a situation like this. Remember? Did we? Right, because they're the ones who... Well, Otis was the one who won, quote-unquote, Hell's Chicken. But Mare came super close. See, I think it's become sort of an unspoken rule after everything that happened. Remember, back during last year's cooking contest at K-Corp, they were the only two people who managed to get even remotely positive reviews. Oh, does that mean we get to try was this cooking once again? Denied. We still have plenty of high-calorie foods like cookies and jellies here. I find no reason to do something so inefficient. I'm glad to see that everyone's still energetic, given the circumstances. It can't be easy to suddenly wake up in an unfamiliar environment. Well, we're all quite used to getting thrown into unfamiliar places. Speaking of which, did you manage to reach your colleagues yet? Did you manage to reach your colleagues, Emiya? She shook her head, concerned. They may have lost their comms device. Maybe they ran into some other trouble. Could they be in danger? I don't know, but I'm sure they're okay. The doctor, Dr. Kaltsit, they're more than capable enough to look after themselves. Long had this curiosity linger within me, thus allow me to inquire. Corporations are, by their nature, organizations in pursuit of profits. Yet the activities of a corporation resembles those of a charity organizations, as opposed to a pharmaceutical company. Is there aught that might explicate this blurred distinction? Ah, I want to know too. How come a pharmaceutical company like Rhodes Island's helping people? Something about what Honlu said brings back unpleasant memories. The horrible experiment seen through a cascade of flowing tears and faces suffering. The embodiment agreed that left a terrible wound in Honlu's fathoms. The pharmaceutical companies I see my journey were corporations that, despite possessing the capacity to heal, chose to obsess over the profit it could provide. There are many in Terra who are suffering from a disease. The disease crystallizes you. It spreads deeper and deeper into the infected internal organs, eventually culminating in their death. It's called oropathy. Emiya showed me the back of her right hand, dotted by what appeared to be obsidian crystallizations. Its appearance reminded me of the biotreatments of Backstreets. There's something more to it, something more restless, more sinister. It's a terrible, painful disease, but there haven't been any recorded cases of full recovery. But there's an even worse problem. Pray tell, what could possibly be worse than an incurable deadly disease? While it varies from region by region, discrimination against the infected is widespread across Terra. Those who suffer from it must face unfair treatment. Isan began with a bright, dark expression. Some are quarantined in places with terrible, inhumane conditions, and there have been massacres too. I don't mean to be callous, but is this oropathy highly contagious? Oh no, there have not been any recorded cases of infection by contact, as long as the subjects are alive. But when the infected dies, the crystal growths on their body decay and turn to dust, scattering, which is what spreads the plague. Then barred environments like active battlefields where casualties will be expected, staying within close proximity of the infected in daylight seems to pose hardly any risk. So, what's the problem then? They're already past the point of caring what the problem is. Once people start feeling iffy, all logic goes out the window. Then Rhodes Island's goal has to be, yes, important to develop a cure for oropathy, but I think what really matters is that we change the circumstances for the better for the infected. That's not going to be an easy endeavor, though. That is what gives your effort more meaning. Hope you can achieve that goal, Mia. I really do. For truth! The city, this world. We both live in worlds full of surprises, don't we? What kind of world did you come from? This city. What kind of place is this city anyway? The kind of place with too many pointless rules. The kind of place where the moment you think, isn't this too much, you see something even worse. Try as I might, I couldn't think of a single positive thing about the city. The sinners seemed to be in agreement, as most of what came after was quite scathing. The kind of place where good deeds rarely go unpunished, where sympathy is a good attitude to have if you like getting stabbed in the back. Nothing good ever works out there. It's a shithole. It's an irrational place, full of absurdities. Absurdity is an omnipresence. Therefore, it is not a subject by which one should be aggrieved. We can at least grouse about them, though. It means the only thing we can do. It'd be more correct to experience more and acclimatize oneself to it instead of complaining. You didn't say something like that last time. Just as the mood was starting to turn rather sour, Don Quixote's shout shattered through the awkwardness. Verily, nary day goeth by untarnished by villains and their fell deeds. Yet worry thee not, where easel rises, so doth the fixtures of justice too. Don Quixote jumped from her seat and passionately shook her fist. It was followed by a heavy crack and sound of small pebbles tumbling down. Don Quixote, watch out! Whoa! Eh? And behind the wall, she accidentally broke down. An unfamiliar visage of a villager appeared and stared back at Don Quixote. It appeared that she was eating something out of a can while reading a book. How farest thou? Farest thy foot? You gotta apologize first. Last seemed a bit tad too hyper today. Nay, apologies, for I hardly expected the wall to crumble with such ease. Art thou unhurt? Any injuries? Two? Pray tell, to what? Forget the apology. I just want to know what happens next. The fixtures of justice rose up to... do what? Oh! Oh! Hast thou come to me to hear the tale of the fixtures? I don't know about coming to us, given how Miss Don Quixote was the one who punched the wall down. Ahem. Oh, is it too late? An hour? I might wait until morning if you want to sleep. Nay, not at all. This is quite early for an hour or tales, in fact. Prithee, seat thyself here. You ungovernable fool, calm down. We don't even know who she is. And don't you forget to share those fixtures' tales over in the corner to not disturb our sleep. Thou makes the request most untenable. These tales deserve to be announced to the world with much great gusto from the center. Yeah, that's the best way to hear those kind of stories. We should probably introduce ourselves to each other first. My name's Mayers. How should I put this? Ah, did you meet the village chief earlier during the day? He's my Gramps. Oh, that nice guy? So you had a granddaughter. Yet, I've not seen you once, Miss Mayers, under the sun. Oh my, you're right. Thought the village was completely dried out of any young blood. Like Roy said, while we didn't see Mayers out there, there wasn't anyone else in the village we could comfortably call young. You're telling me, Gramps was worrying over nothing and told me to stay put inside. Going on and on about the dangers that the outsiders pose and everything. It seems that they do not give a full faith to their saviors. There are things you cannot share with even with whom you trust with your life. Though, I would like to know why. My, is there a bunch of other kids who are stuck indoors in this village? No, there isn't anyone around my age in the village at all. Oh my god, they're sacrificing kids to the Seaborn, aren't they? Or the Sea Terrors, aren't they? Hold on, I gotta do something. Sorry, one moment. Yeah. If that's the case, I guess I can understand why being overprotective. Anyways, it's our turns. We are. I'm good. I heard enough to get an idea. You did? Oh, pray, how does this style hear us? Via a listening device most secret upon our chamber? Mayors tapped the side of the wall, the part that was still standing anyway, and smiled ironically. Bad soundproofing. I can hear pretty much everything Don Quixote, right? Everything Don Quixote practically saying during the day. Verily, I see. I think you could really do with some sense of embarrassment for once. Well, I guess that's good enough for self-introduction, so... Care to regale me with the tales of the fixers who brought justice to the evils of the city? Indubitably! Then, this shall do. I shall regale thee with the tale which is legendary fixer, the arch-magnificence herself, the Red Mist hath... I suppose I killed that hope for a good night's kip. But, don't you usually pass out within a minute or you're back in the hay no matter how noisy things are? What? Do you take me for some kind of hibernating bear or something? Look, even I have trouble sleeping when there's noise all over. Go. Cheap biscuits. I say bear in hibernation is a pretty apt descriptor. For all that grumbling and moaning, he dozed off before any of us did. Aside from Heathcliff, he began snoring the moment his head touched the ground. Some of our sinners were fast asleep as well. Merceau had entered sleep in his usual steadfast adherence to routine, while Faust lay claim to one of the few available cloth sheets as soon as the close of business for the day was confirmed. The sinners who had spent the entire last night searching for me in this unfamiliar land slowly began to fall asleep as well. Meanwhile, the fixture of the Association's first section, though the night was no longer young, Don Quixote was still vigorously sharing the tales of adventures without even a single sign of fatigue. She's not determined to do this until sunrise, is she? Oh! Guess it's okay, since Mayor seems to be having fun. As I continued to watch the pair with some mild concern, Amiya, not yet asleep, approached me. This city Miss Don Quixote speaks of seems to be teeming with fixtures of justice and exhilarating tales of adventures. Did you actually experience all of them yourselves? No, of course not. Don Quixote's stories are usually those of other famous people. But she's telling it with such vigor that it almost sounds like she was there herself. Well, I guess, if everyone got to it, some of them might be retellings of Don Quixote's personal experiences. Geshman replied uncertainly, thinking back to the plays were made to watch back in La Mancha land. Well, make all the stories, even if they're only partially true, just go to show what a ridiculous place it could be. We won't need fixtures of justice to begin with if we really lived in a just world, right? A really good place to live would be quiet and peaceful without someone having to force it. That's true. Hope there'll come a day when Rhodes Island can be a normal pharmaceutical company in the future. Something wrong? No, I just thought Miss Mayers and I made eye contact. Did she overhear our conversation? I looked in her direction as well. All I saw was Mayers excitedly reacting to Don Quixote's tales. Whoa, what happened then? Thus spake Lady Otis, boldly before soldiers stood in our path. Thou presumest to stand in our path, servants of master most unworthy? I, Otis, shall educate ye on this matters maketh. Don Quixote was now retelling stories of Olympus Company's adventures in Honyon, and Otis, who could no longer stand Don Quixote's unintentional alteration in story, jumped to her feet and shouted, "Damn it, what kind of nonsense are you feeding her? I never said anything like that." Verily, certain aspects of this retelling may have been exaggerated. Ah, that's Tales of Adventures for you. It's about to get a bit dry when a story is told too realistically and as it is, right? You know nothing. You know nothing. Not even anything resembling a proper record or book remained once the profound silence swept through this village. So I've always had a craving for these kinds of stories. What's a profound silence? But Iberia doesn't stop Iberians from immigrating, contrary to the tight immigration control. Have you ever thought about leaving this place? It's still a challenge to cross the border, especially since we're going to have to pass through larger cities that are managed by the Inquisition. You don't seem particularly fond of this Inquisition. Why is that? That's because this village was formed by people who grew tired of living under the Inquisition's rule and fled. Sorry, but what kind of organization is this Inquisition? Sinclair asked, face turning cold upon hearing the word Inquisition and that people fled from it. Yeah, the Nagun und Hammer we saw back in Kal weren't the kind of other kind of memories that are so easily forgotten. According to Dr. Kaltzit, the Inquisition is what filled the power vacuum once Iberia fell into chaos. That its inquisitors are the rapier and lamp-wielding protectors of Iberia cities from lawlessness. That alone kind of makes them sound like good people, though. Yeah, they are, but there's the Church of the Deep. Like Dark Souls? The Inquisition would go to wherever lengths to deal with the incidents related to the church that worships Seaborns. Fee, an organization that worships those monsters? It seems that the cultist fanaticism is a plague wherever we go. I feel like people with all kinds of wrong faith and beliefs are so common. See, the Seaborns are the ones that mess my Iberia up. So far in their logic, apparently it's okay for them to arrest anyone who seems even remotely connected to them. Are you saying that Iberia is like this because of the Seaborns? Those saints from earlier? Guess they're kind of troublesome to deal with, but they didn't seem that strong. Anyway, it's just what I heard from Grants, but the Inquisition executed many innocent people too in their crusade against the Church of the Deep. Those who proclaim to be on side of justice, they seem quite fond of committing such villainy. It seems like a reasonable policy decision to me. But it must pose a clear danger to daily lives of civilians. Yeah, I heard it's only a survivor. Everyone in my family died. You must have had to endure such a long period of pain. To be able to say something like that with such composure. Yeah, just like Sinclair. For Iberia, they are heroes who bring the land back to its glory days. But to Gramps, they are just the pressures making this life difficult. That's why we all come here, fleeing from the Inquisition's gaze. Yet, wherefore thou hast decided to settle a place that is so, run down? Indeed. Yeah, I know, but it's not so bad once you get used to it. Besides, we managed to find a new path thanks to you guys. A new path? Well, it's getting late. Will you be repairing the ship tomorrow, too? This place really has no soundproofing at all, huh? Good talk, everyone. Hope we get another chance to do this tomorrow, too. After seeing Mayers to her own room, the other sinners, those who are still up anyway, and I laid ourselves on a hard stone floor with a thin layer of cloth between it and our backs. A mysterious world that was neither the city nor the outskirts. But it seemed that the lives its people led were just as difficult as they were anywhere else. This'll muss us. Now we can start getting more of our guys. Make you a horsey. Make you a ninja. Make you a sniper. I'll make you... What shall you be? Fuck it, we'll do Fire Fist Survivor. I should really get his twin hooks and I should at least get the twin hooks, Svi, and Heisho pack up. Right?
지위를 받는 건
아, 이번 의뢰는 몇 발이나 들고 가야 하냐?
흑수
의로움은 이제야
명을 받듭니다.
복제팀의
맡겨두시게!
죽음께서 주먹으로 매 연료는 잔뜩 주
준비한 대로만 하면
It's so big. That's what she said. Amazing. I didn't know there were remaining vessels of this class in Iberia. Ah, it's Asperia named here. This is called by the name Rebellion de las Masas. Rebellion de las Masas. Revolt of the Masses, is it? A name very much marred in peculiarity, indeed. Honlu chimed in that he was rather fond of it with the size being about the same as a boat from his home. Well, Ishmael quickly jumped in and corrected us that this size alone wasn't anything special at the Great Lake, but it was still pretty big compared to Mephi or the Indigo Elder's skiff. I thought it was going to be somewhere around Mephi's size at most. Are you sure you can get this ship fixed in a day or two? As I previewed yesterday, the great majority of time-consuming repairs have been completed by the villagers. The extent of our repair efforts only concerns a few components within the vessel that the villagers cannot repair, which shouldn't take as much time. Unless parts that are unfamiliar to Faust are also malfunctioning, such as the core engine, remaining repairs should be sufficiently managed by Faust. Despite Oz's confident declaration, I could not help but feel oddly unsettled as I looked at the ship. I don't know why, but something tells me that we don't want to linger here for too long. Still, please be thorough about it, just in case. I'd rather not sit in a sinking ship again. The experience of the Great Lake was enough. Do not worry, Dante. Unlike Mephistopheles, most functions as a vessel, buoyancy gear, propellers, steering gear, are in operational capacity. This repair should be much easier than in the case with Mephistopheles. They seem confident enough. It should be safe this time around, right? Are we taking that rope to climb to the ship? No, there's a lift-like apparatus down here. It should take us up to the ship. Its stability was verified yesterday. Let us board the lift. You're 100% certain, right? The boat is afloat right now, Dante. I don't think it'll be sinking anytime soon. Knock on wood. Wouldn't that be nice? Oi, you're just too good faff about down here. We're heading up now. No, we're going with you. As I made my way into the vessel's bridge, I was greeted by the extravagant interior that was as gaudy as the exterior. This isn't real gold, is it? Sure is shiny as heck in here. I got butterflies in my stomach. A.S. Aesthetically satisfying, she says. Oh, that's quite a compliment from Ryoshu. Guess she has a eye. Her thing is violence, but I guess she has a sign. That would explain a lot about her and Merceau. She's obsessed with her art, but she can recognize craftsmanship and design, which is, you know, some death. But too ostentatious. But too ostentatious. Not quite my style. Oh, young Mephi is also quite the excellent vessel. Yet, imagine the adventures we could embark on board this vessel, most lavishly decorated. As Faust and Otis were working on one of the control panels, Isma walked up to another and interfaced with it before giving a knowing nod. This must be an investigative or research vessel of sorts, but it does seem a bit extravagant for one of those, though. Look, coordinates. Updating in real time, it seems. The coordinates seem to have been set somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it points to a small islet? Nope, no islet there. Ugh! Let me last. You sure know how to sneak up on people. Mayors? Haha! Did I actually surprise you? I did ask if you guys were going to come fix the boat today. Still, how know you'd be here? Where are the coordinates set to this location? There are several undersea cities beneath these coordinates, collectively known as Aegir. Gramps' home. I see. Understood. What was understood, if I may ask? It is now understood why the promise to repair the ship was sufficient to earn their trust and the title of saviors. What's she on about? Someone get translating. Consolidating and cross-referencing the observed particular circumstances of the village and the statements from the village chief, alongside information garnered from the exchange of mayors, it is possible to gauge the significance that the ship's repairs has to the local populace. Of course, while this may constitute a sequence of logical connections that pose certain challenges for Heathcliff to comprehend, to employ any degree of effort to attempt to explain it in more digestible language would constitute a pursuit of inefficiency. Lord the Baton, I implore you, I shall explain it in full. Ugh, I was wondering when my smartass would start gabbing like that again. So what's she on about? So it sounds like that's their home and they want to find it. Heathcliff's shoulders were relaxed. Didn't seem like he was actually going to swing the bat. He placed it lightly over his shoulder with a sigh. A brief observation of the village seems to suggest that their subsistence situation was quite dire. Much of their daily sustenance consisted of dried food, mostly made for long-term storage purposes. Considering what Scotty said about how the coastal areas are full of danger, many of those dried seafood aren't from around here either. Maybe it's food they packed when they first came to Faro Muerto? Some villagers were armed, yeah, and those sea terrors weren't exactly formidable, but given the state the villagers are in, I doubt they have an easy time repelling those monsters. Indeed. And that brings us to the question of sustenance. Right, I get what's going on here. Lass and her granddad are about to visit their hometown and try to get some food and supplies from there to feed the villagers. They convince them, they're planning to use the fact that they're from the same neck of the woods, or sea, I guess. Oh, so they're not just repairing their ship, but repairing their food supply chain too. Huh? What's wrong? It's, well, expressions were rather crude. Heathcliff's summary of the situation was clear, to the point and easily understood. The singer stared at him with mild surprise. And I did too. What's with the annoying looks? Wait, oh, you saw it. You don't think I'm that dim-witted, do you? Top-notch intuition. It's just that it's been a while since you've shown this side of yourself. Thinking back, Heathcliff's intuitions have always been excellent. He often put together surprisingly accurate conclusions with impressive speed. You know, when you really think about it, it's kind of your fault for... Ah! I've been too salty, haven't I? Oi, get back here! Yep, not with those fools out of the conversation. Was he correct? Otis looks away from unusual chaos and asks Mayers. Honestly, I'm surprised. He was on point. Yeah, food's been running low in the village. At this rate, we won't last another year. But the Aegir will. I'm sure they'll welcome us with open arms. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms. I won't come off like overly worried, but do you think they welcome the others too? Unlike Mayor or Chief, they're not Aegir. I believe they will. Iberia suspects and hates the Aegir for no other reason than that we're from the sea, but our home cannot fall so low as the abandoned group of starving land dwellers. Prithee, might thou explain to us who the Aegir are? I initially thought it would be a reference to a region. It also seems to refer to affiliation of sorts. Maybe there's someone like nest dwellers? Though I don't think I've heard of a nest that accepts Backstreet's people with open arms. Maybe they used to be some rich folk? If they call nest tops Aegir here, does that mean that Rabbit here last Aegir too? Wait, in what world you came from, do they not distinguish between races? That is not entirely true. Delineation between races is a concept that does exist. You only saw them in the Fathoms. There were those terrifying things called the cuckoo spawns. However, as a general rule, it's said that humans should be the only intelligent life forms in the city. People of Terra have slightly varying appearances depending on the race, like my Codis ears. They got pointy ears because I'm Aegir. Though it's not characteristic every Aegir shares. He quotes the idea that what they're discussing appear to be, Don Quixote seemed to be struggling to finish her sentence. Rousseau stepped in to continue. By context and clues and matter of word usage, including the means of classification. Closest example in our world would be blood fiends. Similar external appearances to humans. Different natures. Comparable sapience. It is my belief that blood fiends are ostracized due to their nature that make coexistence with humans difficult. Maybe that the Aegir are also... I'm sure some of them do possess qualities that make coexistence with our difficult, but they're probably rare. Then wherefore are they made subject to suspicion and hatred? That's... Well, the language is new, but the idea itself is pretty familiar to the city folks like us. Think of feathers and fallen wings. Kids born in backstreets. People replace their body parts with prosthetics. The form differs, yet in its essence we find the thread. Something about how we keep finding these similarities and ways of our lives, despite finding ourselves in distant worlds with different rules, races, and humans, felt oddly discomforting. The point is, you guys are really doing this real solid by fixing up the ship. Let's move on to these gloomy conversations, okay? I want to show you cool parts of the ship. This way. The ship tour may have to wait. The repair is almost completed, but an issue has arisen. Issue? Well, that's not reassuring at all. Multiple life forms identified ahead. Assumed to be a sea terror horde. The ship's radar system seems to suggest that this vessel is surrounded. They're the same monsters from yesterday. Executive Manager, please order us to prepare for battle. Damn it. Are these sea terrorists you encountered? Look a bit different, but yeah, probably. There are a lot of them, but if our last experience tells us anything, we should be able to handle this. Emiya, please support us in battle like you did yesterday. Canst thou fight, young mayors? I feel like I'm just going to get in your way. Then, Guy, find a place to keep Mayor safe as far as possible from the battle. Then let's hurry down there. We don't want them damaging the ship any further.
이 기회에 평소 지휘 실력을 확인해
That's another one.
하던 대로 해보십시오.
내가 맞서. 내가
Stealth
아시의
Sea
이상을
Runner,
함께 줬던 호위
Deep Sea Slider.
이상이요.
Drop a Never Sea brand. Never Sea brand. What's a Nether Sea brand? Oh,
타겟
whatever.
포착 1시간.
머리통이 작살났다고.
직원들이 긍정적인 환경에 놓여 있게 되었어요. 관리자님이 이 기회를 잘 활용하길 기다리겠습니다. 기계는 언제나 기다리는 운명이니까요.
사격해세요.
아니 갑자기 확 돌아갔네. 솔직하게 말해서 한 번에 이렇게 강한 공격을 할 줄은 모르고 아주 옛날에 만든 기계를 가지고 왔거든.
쏠 수 있지? 벼락로
뭐 정확한 수치는 몰라도 아무튼 대단한 공격에 성공한 거네. 자부심을 가져도 좋겠어.
처리는 빠르게 하는 편이
Damn, 20.
덜 답답한 법이지.
Wait, I don't want this already. No. We're waiting.
사격해세.
숨통 끊기.
전투 감각 하나만큼은 남자가 더 훌륭하겠네.
방금 어떻게 하신 거죠? 깜짝 놀랐어요.
지금은 좋았어요.
4번
약 반쯤 죽여버려. 13조 이하게 맞. 그게 체결이.
와,
Now
엄청 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸.
끝내지. 헤어내리.
이제 깨우치시게.
치명적인 한 방이었어.
거의 진압되겠는걸요?
맞아. 여기까지 다 울리지 않았어?
한 점만 노린다.
Gotcha.
헤드샷. 머리통이 작살났다고.
완벽한 한 방. 시원한 걸.
물 넘고 거꾸로 제쳐라.
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요. 지금은 좋았어요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고. 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠.
마침표를.
저는 언제나
좋아.
옳은 말만
이번에는
한답니다.
제대로 이제 들어가. 끝났네. 너희들이 원한 대로 된 거 맞지? 아 여기저기 부서진 것 같은데 저건 우리 직원들 시켜서 고쳐야겠다. 수리대금도 받고 시민들도 금방 편해질 테고. 어? 나도 뭔가 원하는 대로 된 것 같은데? 상부상조네.
그 정도 화력으로 우리 사무소를 막을 수 있을 줄 알았냐? 저놈들 무기까지 주어서 철수하자고.
뱃대에서 내려 천장으로.
어떤
what's this
시간과
one?
공간에 계시는 관리자님이
Basin
들을지
Sea
몰라도
행색이
그때를
이상하다.
위해서
Rivers Impairment.
미리 음원을 녹음해야 한다는 거군요.
내가 맞서.
아 이런, 이것도 녹음되고 있는지는 미처 몰랐네요.
아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위 이상이요.
그렇게 하시면 전투 감각 하나만큼은 수감자가 되어도 훌륭하긴 하군. 이제 그 도통 알아들을 수 없는 말투만 고치면 딱 좋겠어. 4번 수감자.
일기당치. 치명적인 한방이었어.
진압되겠는걸요?
맞아. 여기까지 다 울리지 않았어?
아까 했던 공격 덕에 한결 수월해진 것 같아요. 좋네요.
Not yet. Not that one yet. No.
타겟 포착 1시간.
방금 어떻게 하신 거죠? 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한걸?
그래. 사선이 비었어. 딱 반쯤 죽여볼게. 13조 2항에 맞추려면 그게 제격이지. 마침표를.
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요.
공로 지원한다.
관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고
부탁한다.
제가 늘
여긴
말씀드렸죠.
맡겨주세요.
저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
Might as well do that. I think now's a good time.
사격 개시.
완벽한 한방. 시원한걸?
숨통 끊기.
대성공이야. 가른 신나. 노래 부를까?
물 넘고.
거꾸로 제철.
공격 능력 평가? 야호.
제대로 고쳤는데.
There we go.
한 점만 노린다.
That's satisfying.
보상은 없음. 불꽃의 지원은
승객이 딱콩 한 방
먼저
먹였어.
빠진다.
개체에게 일격을 가하는데 성공했습니다. 샴페인을 가져오기엔
일기당초.
너무 이른 타이밍이긴 하겠지만 이 전투가 성공적으로 끝나면 모두의 희생을 드리며 축배를 드는 것도
가치 없
나쁘지 않겠죠.
죽어.
마음 놓고 열어졌지. 바람 불어오는 대로. 바람 불어오는 대로. 재빨리.
지금은 좋았어요.
이제 끝났네. 너희들이 원한 대로 된 거 맞지? 아, 여기저기 부서진 것 같은데 저건 우리 직원들 시켜서 고쳐야겠다. 수리 대금도 받고 시민들도 금방 편해질 테고. 어?
The main entities have all returned to the sea. Is everyone okay? It was just like our last skirmish. Sea terrors that surrounded the ship returned to sea even before the battle came to an end. And their retreat felt too orderly and deliberate to just be running away. It's almost like they were making a tactical retreat. We're doing peachy, but what about the ship? Val, is the ship okay? Minor damages to the hull, but nothing that will impede the ship's operational capabilities. Whew. So noticed during battle, might be wrong course, but I think I noticed how around the end of battle, those monsters started to go after the manager? You're probably right, actually. I noticed too, at some point during a battle, those monsters realized that it was the manager who's commanding the rest of us. I said it's the very same. Their movements were fluid and adaptive, as though we were learning our behavior. Why is the Church of Deep worship monsters like them? There ain't much of a question in it. They almost have gone mental. I'm sure they have many reasons, but Seaborns are beings of infinite potential, so much so that there's no superlative big enough to properly convey the scale. As organisms, they can endlessly evolve and adapt. Every time they encounter a new environment or new element, they transform themselves into other Seaborns. Maybe that's a draw. That fascination may be an attitude most befitting a researcher, yet the transformation of fascination idolatry is, if I may be frank, not entirely positive. I find them pretty uncomfortable. They just remind me of the whales. Then, can they adapt to our language to communicate with us? What? Going by everything we heard, I think they sound really smart. Meryl's eyes went round at Honlu's suggestion. She put her hands to her mouth, surprised. It sure was something. Heard that there was a Seaborn who could talk. If not humans, spoke the language as humans, regardless of its testament to intelligence. I can only think of two possibilities as to why they would. One, to communicate with humans. The other, to deceive humans. More often than not, it's the latter. What about distortions? Some of them already knew how to speak. Distortions are phenomena in which humans transform into monstrous forms, first observed after White Nights and Dark Days incident. Therefore, that example is irrelevant to Otis's supposition. White Nights and Dark Days, she whispered quietly, but as we were standing rather close to her, we all caught on to a hint of joy in her voice. Pillar of light in the city. Did it really? How have you come across this knowledge, Miss Mayers? Oh, that's... Ain't it obvious? We got the culprit right here. The storyteller last week gabbed on with no end. Yeah, she's been talking non-stop all morning about all kinds of stories, hasn't she? Oh? Yet I have not gotten that far. You again? You didn't get so lost in your own stories you blabbed about our company secrets, have you? Nay, Fee, I would simply not. As Don Quixote was subject to another round of scolding, Emilia stared out toward the sea, where the sea terrors might start crawling to the surface once again, before turning towards us. Wonder which the two Seaborns are. Their sense of self is really, really faint, so I don't think they fit in our category. I think it's possible that they learned human language out of instinct that the power of speech might help them survive. It appears that you, Miss Mayers, are quite the expert on the subject of Seaborns. Your knowledge of them goes beyond what fear for one's survival may yield, thereby suggesting a different means of acquisition. Do you, by any chance, worship the Seaborns? I don't worship Seaborns. Seaborns don't have any hopes or wishes, just desire for survival. Miss Mayers, does that mean if Seaborns were somehow able to hope? Maybe so. Is that so? Their pairs are complete. As we were conversing, Faust descended from the ship with a neatly organized set of tools borrowed from the village. Repairs completed. I'm guessing repairs are done? Yes, the ship is ready to set sail. Did you have a departure time and date in mind? I prefer we had to depart as soon as possible. We don't have a set time or anything, but I think we should be able to set sail this late afternoon at the earliest. That soon? As seen, we don't have a lot to bring with us. Haha. By the way, how far out to sea do you guys need to go? We need to find the dimensional door of sorts. I can see a dimensional door's light from the beach at night. It was faint, but given how light's strong enough to break through the sea fog, we should be able to determine its location somewhere around the coastal waters. So we go back tonight? First order of business is to relay this news to the villagers. Yeah, back to the village for now. Gonna take a small itty bitty break. Gotta stretch.
의뢰비란 보호수당에서 사용한 탄환값을 빼면 오늘은 제사비로 손해를 메울
Let me see
필요가
something.
없네요.
Go to normal. Ahaha. Double, double, double. Double, double, toil and trouble. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, it's also yeah, it makes sense. It's also saving that. Oh, god damn it. back. There's something going on in the village. Yeah, here too. I hear people shouting and hollering. When we returned to the village, ship repairs completed, we were broken by a rather hostile standoff. A quick count told me there were approximately 20 people assembled at the village square. Considering its population, that's pretty much the whole village. Who's that over there? Inquisitor. I think we've been found. The Inquisitor, dressed in a well-kept uniform, was about the same height as Don Quixote. The sword and lamp hanging from her waist sits in stark contrast to the more run-down, ramshackle village. She almost looked like a fixer from the city. So the Inquisition has discovered our village. Did you really think that you'd forever stay outside the Inquisition's gaze, citizen? That's a naive dream. Fabius disappeared from the Inquisition mid-interrogation under charges of suspicion of membership within the Church of the Deep. Last known location, Salt Flat. The other Inquisitors have informed me that you have been identified next to the pirates in its fringes. From criminal to outlaw, what a dramatic evolution of your career. But it ends here, now. Every citizen here, including you, will be accompanying me to the Inquisition. They have never broken a single law, nor are they outlaws of any kind. They are not like me. They disregard the Inquisition's authority, evaded the gaze of Iberia, and found the Sodden coast to lurk in. Tell me I'm not supposed to find that suspicious. What are you talking about? You can't just start arresting people left and right without attending suspicious like that. You shouldn't. I wish we only should live a quiet life, ma'am. Is that so? You might find yourself returned to this village one day, as long as you're telling the truth. Which is not an option for you, Fabius. Mayers, was Chief really a pirate? Well, yeah, but as far as I know, he's been out of the game for a while. And even when he ran with the pirates, all he ever did was share Fimbus jerky to the villages and carry Aegirians between them. Even if you're telling the truth, Mayers, I doubt the Inquisition will be lenient. Well, what now? I have but one question to ask. The Inquisitor, is she following the proper legal procedures? I don't know much about the laws of Iberia, but Dr. Kalsi told us that the words of the Inquisitors were pretty much the law here. It's likely that she is following the proper legal procedures. The procedures are precisely what the villagers have fled from, after all. Then it's decided. Oz quietly dragged me to my side, whispered outside Mayer's eavesdrop. The senators who were right next to me seemed to have picked it up, though. Executive Manager, we best immediately return to the ship, take command of it, and stay out on our own. It is unwise to involve ourselves in this conflict. What? Are you seriously suggesting we just let them arrest the villagers? Did you hear what the Inquisitor said? Seems cut and dry to me. If this is just standard procedure with no laws broken, we're in no place to involve ourselves. Our best hope is to take the ship before they impound that too. We can't do that. Even if it is standard procedure, even though working within the law, it's not... You just have to hear Mira's story too, didn't you? You know, the Uncorporate Inquisitors were working within the law too when they came for the village. That was standard procedure too. If anyone has stepped in then... I know what you went through, but still rather not take a risk in an unfamiliar environment like this. I'll try my best to figure out how to sail the ship. If I cannot, then have faith in Ishmael quickly learns controls. Can't say you're wrong, but I don't know. Neither you nor I know anything about the ocean currents here, Otis. We can get the ship going, but I can't guarantee it will reach the dimensional door without any trouble. You, do you know anything about the sea currents in this region? Not much, but I know the coastal sea somewhat. And you can't fight the Inquisitors directly here in Iberia. Fleeing with the ship might be a better option. What should we do, Dante? Yeah, I guess it's kind of awkward for us just to take the ship and go, huh? How about we try to talk to the Inquisitor then? I think we should at least try to hear them out first. Then being the Inquisitor and the Chief both. If the discussion goes well, we might even get the Inquisition support. Like Mr. Honlu said, we should hear them out first, then try to convince them. I agree with them both. First, let's at least see what the Inquisitor has to say. R. Rabbit's right, she says. Are you certain that translation was accurate, Sinclair? Right, there's no Ryoshi would choose anything other than violence, right? Tch, idiots. It's because the other options are pointless. Inquisitor has seen us. We're already under suspicion. She would doubtless try to stop us if we flee now. So talk first, lower her guard, then attack. Pretty sure that's not what Amiya meant. Well, if she's already onto us, then we shouldn't give her an excuse to attack us by running away. I also wonder what you're doing there, looking in the background. A clock-shaped head? Are you from the Columbian Union? They were wearing a clock for a head due to reasons, but they had nothing to do with the Columbian Union. What's the Columbian Union? Tick-tock. What? Which language are they speaking? Regardless of whether you're from Columbia or not, you're certainly not from Iberia, let alone this village. You're not wrong, but I think there's been a bit of a misunderstanding. I'm quite certain you don't know enough about these villagers set between them and Inquisitor. How long have you been staying here? 2 days? Wait, don't just tell her that! 2 days? Alright, nothing should counter it. Get out of my way, outsider! The attempt appears to have been made on quite the unstable ground. Please lend us your ear for a minute, Inquisitor. I'm Amiya, leader of the Rhodes Island. Yes, I'm aware of Iberia's close border situation. I felt hope swell within me as Amiya began with confidence, unlike Sinclair. Alas, it was short-lived. Thanks to the Inquisitor's quick retort, I couldn't help but place my palm against my forehead at the exchange that followed. Oh, so not only were we dealing with outsiders' dubious origin, but with illegal entry as well. We had to, because the issue demands urgency and... I've been brief. Brazenly crossed the border, didn't you? I don't know how urgent the issue could be, but I doubt it's anything more significant than the situation at hand for Iberia and its Inquisition. The High Inquisitor is handling the Rhodes Island issue. Stay put, and with the consequences, while he and the chatty med doctor of yours talk it out. Do you know what your treatment may depend on her... Do you know that your treatment may depend on her negotiation skills? As for Village Chief, I understand that you have the right to arrest him, as he is a fugitive who has fled in the middle of interrogation and has been sailing with the pirates. However, it is inhumane treatment to arrest the rest of the villagers as well. Inhumane? This decision is well within the rights bestowed upon the Inquisition. They lived for years right next to the highly suspicious Ager. The Inquisition must investigate the rest of them as well to verify whether they had committed any acts of treason against our laws. This isn't going anywhere, is it? Listen, they've been surviving for years upon years by the coast without protection of the Inquisition, and that simply cannot make sense. Boy, I think I've heard enough from you. Ain't it funny how you're blaming them for what's essentially a failure of your responsibilities? Now you're up here only go, they shouldn't be alive, I'm arresting them all. What are you saying, these people should all be dead or something? I am. There's nowhere to cut it. People simply shouldn't be able to survive in a place like this. Not for this long. This Inquisitor's reply only seemed to fan Heathcliff's wrath, as he lifted his bat and began striding forward. Ha! That's it. Lass, you've ever so much to touch the tip of a single villager's hair. Please calm yourself, Heathcliff. But Hon Lu stepped in between them. Get your blade heads off me! I've had enough of her! Continuing threatening her would cause something irrevocably bad to happen. I believe you know that yourself, Heathcliff. What do you suggest then? We're clearly not making progress by talking this out. Excuse me, Mr. Inquisitor. What do you mean that people shouldn't be able to survive in a place like this? I mean it literally. Even by some miracle that they actually do survive, they should at least be suffering from endless hunger, struggling to their wits' ends at the inevitability of the calamity. But they look too healthy. The heck? They shouldn't be applying them for managing to survive through so much hardship? I'm an Inquisitor. I'm not some crazy person on power high goes around accosting and arresting civilians of Iberia straight to the gallows, okay? I have more than enough probable cause to take them in for interrogation. It's just that I don't have the time or energy to explain every single one of them to you outsiders. I promise them a fair judgment, whichever what that may be, after a proper investigation. So stop it with this obstruction of justice. The Inquisitor brandished her rapier threateningly. her voice shaking with frustration. Dante, without the full picture of the circumstances, Faust advised against further antagonization of a local political authority. I agree with Faust. I hate the Inquisitor. I don't trust the Inquisitor. But I know nothing of Arcanites. This is hard advice to take, but it is sound advice. I get the feeling that she isn't the kind of heartless Inquisitor that goes around indiscriminately executing innocents, like Miss Mayers told us about earlier. I don't think she's anything like the Inquisitors of N-Corp we saw back at Cowl. They were right. We didn't have the full picture of circumstances. Getting in the way of an Inquisitor, who was clearly a rather significant political entity in the area, was most likely a bad idea. It isn't an Inquisitor's job to answer your questions. Continue to instruct me then. As the standoff was showing no signs of ending. Miss Mayers, I can answer your questions, so for now let's do what the Inquisitor says. Mayers, who'd been hiding behind us ever since we returned to the village, suddenly stepped forward. Yeah, what of that grandfather and the villagers? It's alright. I'm sure this is only happening because the Inquisitor doesn't know. What do you mean you'll answer the questions? About the profound silence. Mayer's response to Otis was but a single concept. I didn't quite grasp its significance, but seemed to surprise the Inquisitor. That's what they call the calamity that destroyed Iberia. Spinning clock. Oh, I kind of want to see Dante revive everyone in front of them, just to freak him out.
에고 침식도 양호. 아마도.
Decades ago, a great wave ravaged through Iberia. It wasn't long before seaborns carried by the waves diminished Iberia's brilliant civilization to this. The waves. The profound silence then must have reduced the village to its current state as well. Is there any reason it's called the profound silence? It doesn't seem to be the most appropriate moniker for a calamity like that. It's because the sea went dead silent before the waves came. Oh, like a tsunami. The silence then claimed ships out at sea, then the cities of Iberia, and then the Iberians. No one could say a word in the face of such an ineffable calamity. What? Just what are you? No average Iberian citizen should be privy to any of the information you're sharing. And the Church of the Deep is really capitalizing on the pandemonium that followed the profound silence. They pretend to be Aegir from the sea, delude the citizenry of Iberia, and are sowing chaos in our lands. So that's why they're arresting the Aegir left and right. I can see the thought process, but... So it's understandable why the Inquisitor would want to arrest us. Dante, this isn't good. Sharing that seems to have been kind of a taboo-like thing for the Inquisition. The Inquisitor wordlessly stared at Mayers. Her eyes were filled with traces of anger and confusion, but... she's afraid. There was fear in the face of a threat. Not the fear of the terrified, no. It's a fear of someone who's suddenly confronted with something they must destroy. The High Inquisitor once told me that, should we come across an Aegir who knows too much, there's a sliver of chance they may be of assistance to Iberia. Cease! Thou art threatening the innocent with thy brandishing of the firearm! But most are seduced by the allure of the sea. Thus, they are with little doubt our foes. I've got a bad feeling about this. Get out of my way, outsider. Final warning. Run! Quick on to uptake as always, Roja slung Mayers over a soldier and ran past the villagers, while the sinners scattered in all directions to distract the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor draws her firearm. And in the midst of all that action, Don Quixote rushed toward the Inquisitor without a moment's hesitation. Don Quixote? Thou shalt go no further! I, a fixer of justice, shan't abide as thou persecute them. Forsooth, 'tis a battle delayed, not avoided. This clash is inevitable. That moment of crisis, seconds before this could be irrevocably make us a new enemy. Monterre. A large obsidian crystallization in the shape of a monster burst forth between the two of them. Who is it this time? That's enough meaningless bickering. Dr. Kaltzit. Do you know her? Yes, she's Dr. Kaltzit, Rhodes Island Medical Department's... Ah, Dr. Kaltzit, behind you! Shoot first. Talk later, is it? The negotiations are over. From this moment forward, Rhodes Island is now operating within legal capacity on Iberian territory under the Inquisition's authorization. The Inquisition fired a blasted firearm-looking weapon, but a monster summoned by Kaltzit managed to deflect it. And a cannonball thrown from the weapon punched clean through the wall of the building we stayed the night in, before punching through several other buildings behind it. That was enough to instantly freeze the sinners and the villagers on the spot. That penetrated a building. Though the walls may be weaker than the head standard for what counts as a building's exterior wall, to punch through so many is... what a precise point it makes. Now's not the time to stand around being impressed! It's a violation of taboo that to have that much penetrating power in a firearm. We're not in the city. Don't lose your heads over this. Taboos don't apply here. My head knows that to be true, yet my heart finds it difficult to be still. That is enough of that discussion for now. It is advisable that we carefully observe and grasp the situation at hand, instead of deliberating on a taboo the jurisdiction of which does not reach this far. Yeah, so the situation's gotten slightly better, right? If she's Amiya's friend, she's our ally. Besides, she's got some super powerful prosthetic gear-looking thing too. Is that what you think? I apologize for disappointment, but not on anyone's side. In other words, your particular denomination ally may not be entirely correct. However, I must define my allegiance, then let me inform you that the closest label will be that I am Inquisitor Irene's ally. Dr. Kaltzit, Amiya, outsiders. As much as you'd like to deny it, the Inquisitor's suspicions are true. While it can be said that the process by which she reached the conclusion was unfair, the conclusion itself was, without a doubt, correct. So they're actually connected to the Church of the Deep? That is one way to put it. To be more precise, they aren't connected to the Church of the Deep. They are the Church of the Deep. Perhaps the village itself is the dilapidated church of their congregation. Our village, a church? Just look at our buildings. Where will we even congregate? Your thoughts, Faust? There are not many resources by which we may analyze a decision. However, the fact that Amiya's colleagues has made the same argument as the Inquisitor brings the accused defense into question. Yeah, I can hardly believe that young Mayers is lying to us. Hold on. You tried playing with the Inquisitor or whatever. How would we know you weren't aligned with them the whole time? I see. You really are entirely in the dark. An expected outcome, given that all you may be from a place far beyond the dimensional door. As fortune should have it, there's no need for you to know it anyway. The truth is truth unchanging, without the acceptance from an errant group of outsiders. Besides, soon. Sorry, it seems we marred you in this trouble. Ah, say no such thing. You should not abide by one such injustice perpetrated before our eyes. The village has already been identified by the Inquisition, and the Inquisition has even brought an ally. It seems quite unlikely that words shall resolve this conflict. We promise you, we will take responsibility for what is done. We have benefited far too much from your warmth and kindness not to do so. The village chief, with a benevolent look, pulls a dagger from his cloth, and immediately knew what Kaltzit was about to say. Take responsibility? You want to go for... Blah! Blimey! We are now departing for the sea. Yet, we cannot bring ourselves to leave you here. We must ask you to join us for this journey. Become our bloodkin. What are you doing? Stop! The unanticipated, or perhaps I'll simply denial this rising dread, ambush did not end there. Damn it! The Inquisitor was right. Oh, he's gonna bring him back to life and freak him out. The villagers suddenly began shaking the sinners with weapons they had concealed in their clothes, and seeing that they were coming for me as well. Ugh! Amiya, on your left! Amiya materialized a black ribbon-like apparition, parrying the dagger away, flying in my direction. but another villager rushed in, taking advantage of the opening. The charging villager's back was made a visceral, crunchy noise. Someone flung them away. Didn't mean to be this late. Scotty, let me catch you up to speed. I know the situation. This fishy smell is what I went to investigate earlier. What about the sinners? Unlike Amiya and I, who managed to survive the initial ambush, the sinners weren't doing so well. At least we had silver lining in that the Inquisitor encountered its quick understanding of the situation, and subsequent retaliation led the villagers away from the sinners. Hell, I didn't notice any hostility or aggression. What odd thing to say. Well, we hold any animosity towards you. Well, we intend to kill you. We're not trying to hurt you. We're simply trying to give you a form better suited for the sea. Until we were obstructed. I apologize for our unfamiliarity has caused you trouble, Inquisitor. I won't make a big stink about what happened. What's truly unforgivable is that the heretics tried to take advantage of the ignorance of outsiders to flee the Inquisition. And if you are outsiders, any lives lost on Iberian soil are my responsibility. It's my fault. I'm sorry it came to this. Wait, lives lost? We're still alive, you know. We can shake off a stab wound like... This is most unfortunate, outsider. Huh? What? Your friends are either going to die or turn to Seaborns. The daggers that stabbed them were laced with the flesh of sea terrors. Once that happens, most die. And survivors become overwritten by their cells, becoming nothing more than another sea monster. What? That's not a very big deal? Everyone was acting like this was it for the sinners, but... Hey, I should be able to deal with this by turning the clock. It's not that bad. My only concern is that I didn't know what would happen if I tried to bring them back after they were fully transformed to Seaborns. The Golden Bough helped deal with the whale's palification effects, but I had no idea how it would interact with the Seaborn transformations. We should just kill them before they turn. I know this must be very hard for you, but for... What?! Sorry to bother you with this, but can you kill my friends? And preferably in the least painful way you know. Oh, sorry. Was that last part kind of too much to ask? Wait, don't give up already. You're bringing back to Rhodes Island. We should be able to do something to help them. How should I play this? Guys, can you... Dante, I know what you mean, but I just can't right now. My strength has rapidly deteriorated since the ambush. It's kind of tingly, too. Maybe use some kind of paralytic cocktail. Just trust me this one time. I can assure you that I'm not just giving up on them. But... Amiya, can you understand the outsider's speech? Yes, it's just that they're making a pretty difficult request. They want me to kill their friends before they transform to Seaborns. Okay. Before we even do it, Scotty had already decapitated sinners, none of whom resisted. Amiya seemed to have been taken aback by just how fast Scotty jumped into action. What are you doing? Scotty, don't let this spook you. This is just how we roll. The clock turns. The decapitated heads towards the headless torsos, connected with the threads of blood. The sensation is that of a reversal. It feels as though sinners' eyes are severed from the rest of the world, rewinding in isolation. Is this rewinding us going back in time, or redefining the concept itself? This pain is multifold worse than the sensation of straightforward decapitation. The pain is in the heart. As the current death reverses, I sense a deep, crushing isolation. The wounds are disappearing. Resurrection, metapsychosis, or time reversal? Puzzling. I had no knowledge with which to interpret this technology. The cost seems to be that the pain is transferred to one who rewinds. But that seems to be too small a price for great power, though discussion of whether this can be categorized as power should be explored later. I couldn't stop shaking. All my limbs were trembling from the icy solitude. Still, it took a moment to collect myself and order the sinners. I don't know what they were thinking, but... I don't know just what they were thinking, but... Love that shot there. Like, Donkey always like, oh, he done fucked up. Bersaul's like shaking it off. Roja's looking pissed, and Oda's just like... We should be able to find out once we take them down. You dare to see the executive manager and try to take their life? Prepare thyself, for thou shalt now pay the price for making a mockery of justice. Yeah, we just can't let this slide, you know. How unfortunate. I had high hopes that all of you become fine bloodkins.
장부에 적힌 놈들은 볼 때마다 기가 막히군. 우리 중지가 엄지처럼 엄격한
이상이요.
감지처럼 이해할 수 없는 걸 요구하는 것도 아닌데 말이지.
아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호의 이상이요.
Why would I starting on that? Tutorial simulation. Huh. How many are there? Is it just those? Let's go ahead and start some big attacks. Get some of that SP going. What do I want? Oh, that's what I was missing, right? Oh yeah, okay, I should know that. I should know better to do that. Looks like he builds up and adapts as time goes on.
무상한 목숨. 불끈한 지원해.
완벽한 한방. 시원한 걸.
숨통 끊기.
공격 능력 평가. 양호.
제대로 꽂혔는데.
헤어내리.
Ouchies.
좋아. 탄하구만.
치명적인 한 방이었어.
거의 진압되겠는걸요?
맞아. 여기까지 다 울리지 않았어?
강력한 공격은 단순히 적을 제거하는 이점만 있는 것이 아니죠. 이제 저들은 자신도 그렇게 될 거라는 불안에 휩싸일 테니.
타겟 포착. 1시 방향.
One down.
방금 어떻게 하신 거죠? 깜짝 놀랐어요.
Oh, come on. Oh, it just happens to get those. Really? just happened to get all... Come on! Oh, come on!
히스카이프 지금
There goes another one.
와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸.
Something less undeniable.
헤어내리.
Nice. Shit. Shit, nice, terrified. Another one down, that's good. Another one.
이번에는 제대로 들어갔군.
Right of liberation. Who's got sync?
타겟 포착 1시 반.
Nah, just you, old man.
한 점만 노린다.
Nice.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
그 삶에
마침표를.
효율적인 대처로
쏠 수 있지?
개체를
공로
깨뜨렸습니다.
지원한다.
There we go.
참고로 기계는 입에 발린
빠진다.
말과를 쉽게 하지 않아요.
Salon sucker.
일기당천.
이제 깨우치시게.
이제 끝났네. 너희들이 원한 대로 된 거 맞지? 아, 여기저기 부서진 것 같은데 저건 우리 직원들 시켜서 고쳐야겠다. 수리 대금도 받고 시민들도.
Wait, I think they're heading to... He's running himself in dead end. Are they seeking refuge at the sea? Wait, that's where the ship is. That's where they're headed. Try to board the vessel, Masas. Wait, Brunner told them the ship was repaired, so how? Ain't it obvious? Whole village is in on it. Ain't surprised they sent someone to spy on us, or no way to get the ship floating even in its broken state. Vessel, Masas. Vessel Rebellion de las Masas. The ship is moored at a port in that direction. Wait, it can't be! Irene, who was preoccupied with battling the rest of the followers of the Church of the Deep, who were in hiding, quickly gave chase. But Fabius and the villagers were already aboard the repaired ship, slowly departing the harbor with the horde of sea terrors between us and them. How can a vessel that size become operational this fast? The exterior, the name, must have been constructed during the golden age of Iberia. But how are we supposed to chase that? What if we build a raft and rode after them? Oh, Lou. Mate, come on. These will sea terrors. You won't be it won't get very far before it sinks. Do you see something, Mia? You keep looking in that direction. Oh. Vessel Masa soon disappeared into the mist, and the village was left empty with nary a sign people ever had been there. And those was getaway that had been premeditated. Leaving only mayors.
그 정도 화력으로 우리 사무소를 막을 수 있을 줄 알았냐? 저놈들 무기까지 주어서 철수하자고.
Three-way agreement. Damn it, can we just take a ship to go after it? It's a research vessel. It can't possibly be very fast. This will be difficult. Even if it is a research vessel, I'm sure it's constructed during Golden Age of Iberia. No average ship can keep up with it. Which is a problem because I doubt we have any ship that can travel at the same speed. We only have a few small vessels left, which are all anchored too far from this location to be feasible options. Do you have any recourse? No, not unless we can identify the exact location of the vessel, which is the real problem. We can find ourselves a ship to go after them, yes. Most eyes of Iberia, the lighthouse, were lost during the profound silence. Wait, when you say most, do you mean there's some left? Just one, as far as I know. The one in Grand Faro, but that lighthouse cannot be used at this moment. There's another. There's a lighthouse you can use. Really? Are you really going to give one of the villagers that benefit of the doubt? Yet young Scotty hath already confirmed her to be safe. All I confirm is whether she's seaborn or not. Can't know if she's a cultist. 'Tis true, yet once we saw that Mayers was left on her own, we decided to have her accompany us at all times to keep her within Irene's eyeshot. We couldn't possibly blame her for what happened, given Scotty's confirmation that he doesn't have anything to do with those sea monsters. Besides, they all left her behind. But Irene still seemed to harbor a bit of suspicion. The problem with the Ager is that she simply knows too much. Where could she possibly gained access to all that information? See? She can't even answer that question. But let's think about it this way. What if we were to ask her what we don't know? The location of that lighthouse, for example. They're ticking rapidly. What did they say? Dante says that we should approach it differently and ask her what we don't know, like location of the lighthouse. That seems like a reasonable suggestion to me. Or does the Inquisitor have an alternate solution to this conundrum? No, but fine, let's hear it. I won't interrogate you about how you have access to things that even us Inquisitors don't know. At least not right now. Bar Muerto, Dead Lighthouse. That's our village name. Somewhere a little ways off from the coastline, there's an intact Eye of Iberia on the sea, though it was almost destroyed when the profound silence swept through it. Off the coastline? Is it not connected to the land? I think it used to be until it sank. We should be able to procure ourselves enough wooden material from the village to build a raft. Is it near enough for a raft to be means of access? Weather's not great today, but it should do. It's not very far from the coast. Even you're going to trust the Ager? I don't see why I shouldn't. I understand that Iberian mistrust of the Ager is quite profound, yet such sentiment is hollow to the rest of us. Inquisitor Irene, what did you feel when you saw the Rhodes Island operator? If you're talking about the Katas, nothing in particular, other than slight annoyance when she accused me of being inhumane. So you didn't harbor any hostility nor disgust. Not that you felt any sense of sympathy or empathy either. I thought, I have no history of feelings for or against the Ager. Such must be the same for the outsiders. What's she on about? She's conveying that, in matters in regards to the mayors, our opinions are more objective than Irene's. Finding the vessel Fabius McCommandeer will be of benefit to all. Limbus Company will gain an opportunity to return to the city via the Dimensional Door, while Rhodes Island will have the chance to study it at a closer proximity. And the Inquisition will gain possession of the vessel, which the technology from the Iberian Golden Age is contained. What? You're going to just hand that over to the Inquisition? Why should we covet that was once Iberia's? While there are certainly aspects to that vessel that draw interest, I already have a state-of-the-art art masterpiece known as Mephistopheles. As long as that can be guaranteed, I see no reason to refuse. Irene eventually agreed to put her trust in Mayers. We are in luck, Executive Manager. Quite fortunate our interests aligned exactly with that first strangers we encountered in a strange land. Lucky is right. Imagine we were back in the city. It would take them like 3-4 distortion huts for us to come to this agreement. Sorry about having to saddle you with this, Mayers. Please lead us to the lighthouse. Okay, happily. So when you said almost destroyed, how almost destroyed is it? I heard that the light faded from the lighthouse a long time ago, but the shape still stands. At least it was when I saw it a few months ago. If the lighthouse is in an inoperable state, we're going to need an expert technician to get it back in working order. The technology it's based on is completely divorced from the popular application of Originium technology, so I doubt there's anyone out there who can work it anymore. Then you needn't worry about that. Here, we have an engineer researcher who are geniuses even among those in the city, so we should be able to manage most mechanical failures. Today is just revelation after revelation, huh? I can vouch for Olympus Company's skills. I can also work on a simpler task. I learned a thing or two about helping out Gramps, stuff about the lighthouse and other various tech stuff. Well then, should we all head to the lighthouse together? No, I believe in the group for a moment, and Mia will accompany you instead. What? After all that, you're just going off on your own? Yes, to join the Doctor. It's imperative for the successful execution of this mission. Of course, that hinges on Mia and Scotty remaining behind here to assist the rest of you. Thus, I'll leave it to the rest of you to take the Eye of Iberia, the lighthouse, back. Wait, what do you mean, take back the lighthouse? Is there somewhere something out there that's taken over a lighthouse called the Eye of Iberia? A likely supposition. Mia, what did the manager of Olympus Company say? They're asking if the lighthouse has been taken over by anything. Not a bad intuition. Yes, there is a high likelihood that the structure has already been overrun by sea terrors. I don't know about overrun, but I counted a few times when we approached it too closely. Normally, this is hardly enough personnel to attempt a raid on Lighthouse, but answer me this. Are there any limitations to their revival? There are no restrictions as long as Dante, the manager, survives. However, do note that battle efficiency depreciates with a prolonged battle due to the mounting mental stress on the manager. No need to change the plan then. Emiya, use this communicator to alert me as soon as you identify the coordinates of the vessel from the lighthouse. If luck will have it, we should be able to reduce the time it takes to complete the retrieval mission. Okay, as long as you're not taking everyone with you, if it's just her who's leaving, then go ahead. I think we should be fine too. Then, let's commence mission Vessel Massas Retrieval. Righto, step one of the plan's the raft, right? Let's get on it. On with it. It's done. Let's go. What? Why are you looking at us like that? Is there something bothering you? Must you ask? Just look at how proactive and quick she is to jump to action. Certainly lives up to the image of an employee working for a large corporation. Thanks, Otis, for a charitable view, I guess. Thanks to Scotty, who already finished the first step of the plan, we were able to move on to step 2 immediately. Now we got a new one. Nether Sea Founder. And I just keep getting... I should be pretty soon I should be able to get the Scotty ego. After a while carefully sailing on Scotty's raft along the coastal cliffs, a gargantuan shrouded lighthouse emerged from the thick mist. Eye of Iberia. Even its dilapidated ruin state. Touches that are once monumental and sensitive are apparent on the exterior construction of the lighthouse. Some even call these lighthouses Guardians of Iberia. It retains the grandeur of the area, as it was built during its golden age. You really know everything, don't you? It is as you said, but now, these lighthouses are nothing but graveyards of countless inquisitors and soldiers of the Penal Battalion. No one who's attempted to retrieve a lighthouse has ever survived the expedition. Can you please not say scary stuff like that, Miss Irene? We are literally about to walk into one. Don't you quit chirping? What are you, a foul beast? Stop yapping in my ear. Why is this one such a coward unlike the rest of the outsiders? Oh, coward! I'm just voicing my. She did just say some pretty concerning stuff. How long do you think the repairs will take? Its exterior is rather heavily damaged. However, from what is visible from the outside, its interior is still quite intact. With Miss Bell's expertise, it should not take very long. Isan suggested with a smile, but Faust maintained her silence for her entire journey to the lighthouse. Then said something pretty concerning in response. Of course, my wit remains unmarred even in such uncertainties. The currents are pretty wild. Someone's gonna have to stay behind and keep an eye on the raft. We can't just leave it here unattended, but I don't know if we can carry it either. I'll stay here and protect the ship. You sure you can handle this alone? I know you're strong, but maybe one or two more people should stay behind just in case. No, don't need them. Sea terrorists will swarm the island if I go with you anyway. So this has nothing to do with you. So what she's trying to say is that she's worried about you not having enough people to take on the lighthouse when she can handle this area alone. Which is why she's okay with staying behind alone. Thanks for explaining. Some people just can't help but hop through an extra hoop, I guess. Well then, let's trust her. We'll be back, Scotty. Luckily, we didn't run into sea terrors on our way to lighthouse gates. The problem was that the gates were bound shut by strange blue tissues. Actually, the L Corp branched back at U Corp, though that one was white. I don't think I'd do anything to force it open myself, so... Guys, can you pry open this door? Boy, I'll pull from the right side, you grab the left, and... we're all pulled together at 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3? Huh? Something's off here. What are you doing? The door is firmly secured in place. This flesh tissue regenerates almost as soon as it's torn. Perhaps we need to tap into a wilder form of art to get this opened. Well, what now? The strange flesh tissue growing from the gates of sea terror relaxed to the lamp, but it's grown too much to be affected by an unmeaningful capacity. Scotty might be able to open this door with incredible strength, but should I go fetch her? But I think she's already fighting off sea terrors when seeking the raft. So we're all on our own. Maybe there's an identity card or ego that I can use to get through this. So which one? Huh? Just as a pondering a familiar question, a faint black glow came into view that devoured my sight. It's no intuition or inspiration. It's different from those sudden flashes of realization. And it's not the star of that day that I think of from time to time. It's not the horrible door that I see every time I turn the clock either. The formless and black space in which I am not permitted to see. A faint noise, a whisper, cuts through it. And through that opening, I see light. I reach out to the opening and see Scotty, warm from a very, very warm gaze. Scotty? Powerful imagery crashes onto me like the waves. Scotty, the staggering dancer wielding the blade. Scotty, who flaunts her flowing locks. And Scotty, the singer humming in a low voice. Beyond the fringes of cognition, Scotty's existence has become engraved. Engraved? The sinner who can control its oceanic tidal power is... Dante, are you alright? I'm good. And I don't think we'll need to send for Scotty. Huh? What? Hey, Ishmael. I never used this ego before, but I need you to trust me and accept it. What? An ego? I nod quietly. Well, it's not like we ever get to have a practice run with those ego, whatever it is. Seems to me our manager's found a solution. Her confusion is short-lived. Sets out carefree laughter before stepping forward, boldly twirling her mace once. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Get corroded?
한눈 팔지 마세요. 내가 당신에게 파도는 반드시 밀려올 테니.
Oh, so I guess I guess that explains how he gets ego of the operators. Cracks of the lighthouse are growing. I think she destroyed the door instead of opening it. Sorry, didn't think it'd be this strong. Well, the door's open. What are we waiting for? I mean, what? Just what was the part where you... What? Oh, I think we're hearing some of the Kanto. We're hearing some of the Kanto 5 music. What, the part where I suddenly changed a different outfit and equipped a different personality? Yes, that! Yep, that is. This is most fascinating. An eagle can be drawn here in lieu of mirror of Mephistopheles. I think I connected to Amiya's subconscious mind. There's a strange, unfamiliar light, and I saw Amiya's emotions attached to her memories and experiences, so I just reached out to them. My subconscious mind? I just had this feeling it would work. Sorry about peering in without asking first. I didn't see anything other than things about Scotty. All I needed were memories and emotions that could be used to understand that being that is Scotty. Making an ego for someone's memories. Like a makeshift ego. It's okay. I also have experience with gaining powers from others' memories and emotions to overcome difficult situations. Maybe that's how you're able to draw something from me as well, Dante? This is the most appropriate assumption, especially in a situation in which delving into its principles is impossible. So that's called ego? Barely, of course. The Nimbus Company's ego is quite distinguished from the other kind of ego, which are bloomed from within oneself. That's enough. No further information is to be divulged to us outsiders. Yet it matters not whether young Mares or young Amiya learns of this. I agree with the fool this time. The crystal brought using our artillery projectile penetrates the outer wall, severed them, in fact, of the building. The head did not pursue or follow in that breach of taboo. This is clearly not the city. Ain't better just let her talk her out than to hear her moan and whine about not being able to say anything. I am convinced. Do as you will, then. Val's reply sounded almost sulking, but Don Quixote immediately began to expound about ego to Irene and Mayors anyway. But everyone's too busy to pay attention to her, as a wet, slithering noise from a distance had put everyone on edge. We'll do that later. We got some cleaning up to do. So there were more sea terrors. Past the door. I think any sea terrors from the sea are converging around Scotty, which means our only roadblocks are sea terrors still lingering around the lighthouse. Let's go. Let's take this lighthouse back.
선물을 잔뜩 만들 수 있을 것 같음. 행색이
What is Hand of the Saint?
기쁘고 신나는 날이요. 내가 맞서. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호의
Never seen Bradman appear.
이상이요.
Just up in there, Sea Brand. Then we're gonna need some help with this. Alright, who's he targeting? Alright, Ishmael. No. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna do a one-sided attack for now. Until it takes damage.
사격 개시. 그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는군. 전투 감각 하나만큼은 수감자가 되어도 훌륭하긴 하군. 이제 그 도통을 알아들을 수 없는 말투에 고치면
불쌍하게 울고는 적에게 치명상을 입었군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠. 저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
Interesting. Interesting. You gotta manage that one. Pardon me. Are these how the units work in the actual Arknights game? It looks like if we want to do, looks like after it attacks us and does some damage to us, then it loses 10% of HP.
공격 능력 평가 광고.
그놈한텐 다른 공격 방법을 연구해야 할 것 같은데.
지금은 좋았어요. 개체에게 일격을 가하는데 성공했습니다. 샴페인을 가져오기엔 너무 이른 타이밍이긴 하겠지만 이 전투가 성공적으로 끝나면 모두의 희생을 기리며 축배를 드는 것도 나쁘지 않겠죠.
사격 개시.
We should be able to clear out this block.
이제
Or at least a lot of this block.
거쳐.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않아. 적합한 조치였습니다.
너희가 아까 생 공격을 한 바람에 바늘이 저 끝까지 들어가서 안 돌아와. 나 이거 잠깐 수리 좀 해야 할 것 같은데. 이 요새는 드라이버를 안 가지고
Hold
다니나?
on. Saw something.
잠깐 집중해야 하니까 마이크 그만할게. 너희 잘했어.
What is that?
불가 위야 막아내지 못할 이제 깨우치시길.
좋아, 순탄하구만.
무상한 목숨. 지원했군.
마음 놓고 열어젖히고.
바늘이 갑자기 확 돌아갔네? 솔직하게 말해서 한 번에 이렇게 강한 공격을 할 줄은
움직임이
모르고
어설퍼요.
아주 옛날에 만든 기계를 가지고 왔거든. 뭐 정확한 수치는 몰라도 아무튼 대단한 공격에 성공한 거네.
What is this?
자부심을 가져도 좋겠어.
So only when there's a hand in the seat does it activate. Must be some sort of status effect we don't want. That's a way to remove it.
반쯤 죽여버렸군. 13조 2항에 맞추려면 그게 대격이지.
움직임이 어설퍼요. 마음 놓고 열어젖히고.
너희가 아까 쌩 공격을 한 바람에 바늘이 저 끝까지 들어가서 안 돌아와. 나 이거
Let's
잠깐
take care
수리
of
좀
you.
해야 할 것 같은데.
What's this?
이 요새는 드라이버를 안 가지고 다녔나? 잠깐 집중해야 하니까 마이크 그만할게. 너희 잘했어.
Now's the time we gotta start taking these guys out. Take out a whole bunch at once.
불가 위야. 마감했습니다.
치명적인 한 방이었어.
거의 진압되겠는걸요?
맞아. 여기까지 다 울리지 않았어?
Nice try, buddy.
한 점만 노린다.
Oh damn, he survived.
정상값이네. 사실 그 상황에선 그런 공격밖에 보일 게 없었지, 그치?
그 삶에 마침표를.
방금 어떻게 하신 거죠? 깜짝 놀랐어요. 와, 엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한 걸?
Oh, Sequel still needs to be able to retreat. What is that? We're down to the final ones, though, at least. Green and blue.
일기당천. 물 넘고.
효율적인 대처로 대치를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로
5 more to go.
기계는 입에 바른 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
숨통 끊기.
연장 솜씨가 현란하슈. 선물만 들고 도구 연습만 하는 것이오.
마침표를.
칼날이 잘 드네요. 아마 그 공격이 약점이었겠죠?
허술하게 지금은 좋았어요.
I've already lost count.
내가 있는 곳까지 흔들리던데.
네, 완벽한 돌입이었어요.
Might as well. Eclipse, you should be. Eclipse, what are you doing?
불가 위야. 마감했습니다.
Really?
먼저 빠진다.
이 기회에 평소 지휘 실력을 확인해 보죠, 따태. 하던 대로 해보십시오.
일기당천.
같이
바람 불어오는 대로.
죽어라.
There we go.
짓밟아라.
이제 끝났네. 너희들이 원한 대로 된 거 맞지? 여기저기 부서진 것 같은데 저건 우리 직원들 시켜서 고쳐야겠다. 수리대금도 받고 시민들도 금방 편해질 테고.
이렇게 쉽게 통과하리라고는 상상도 못했는데.
Let's go ahead and get our
세바들에게 운절을
exchange.
풀어야겠어요.
Uh,
이런 경사스러운 날에는 조금 풀어줘도 괜찮겠죠.
한눈 팔지 마세요. 메마른 당신에게
now we can.
하루는
Now that's
반드시
at
밀려올
max of
테니.
120%. We can switch this out. Have Faust put in fluid sack again. see, put you under fluid sac now. And Ishmael. Where is it? There we go. Let's see. 40, 40, 40. And max is 120. Let's go.
야음을 틈타.
제가 도움이 될지는 모르겠지만
이상이요.
노력해 보겠습니다.
행색이 이상하나 그럼에도 이상이요. 내가 맞서. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위 이상이요.
Might as well. Let's get this party started.
막아내지 못하리.
이러면 쏠 수 있죠?
공로 지원한다.
치명적인 한방이었어.
거의 진압되겠는걸요?
맞아. 여기까지 다 울리지 않았어?
마음 놓고 열어졌지.
엄청난 공격이었어. 기념할 만한걸?
시간 끌 것 없이 모조리 지워버리죠.
좋아. 잘하구만.
숨통 끊기.
전투 감각 하나만 되고 수감자가 되어 훌륭하겠나. 이제 도란목 알아들을 수
대성공이야.
없는 말투만
다른 신나.
딱
노래
좋겠어.
부를까?
4번 수감자.
무상한 목숨. 지원했군.
너희가 아까 생공격을 한 바람에 바늘이 저 끝까지 들어가서 안 돌아와. 나 이거 잠깐 수리 좀 해야 할 것 같은데. 이 옷은 드라이버를 안 가지고 다녔나? 잠깐 집중해야 하니까 말 그만할게. 너희 잘했어.
흑수묘 뒷박질터 가치 없군. 죽어내지 끝내지.
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다.
방금
제가 늘 말씀드렸죠.
어떻게 하신 거죠?
저는
깜짝
언제나
놀랐어요.
옳은 말만 한답니다.
와우! 벌써 재료를 저기까지 손질해둔 것이오? 오늘 공장 일찍 문 닫을 수 있을 것 같지요?
시간 끌 것 없이 모두를 지워버리죠.
그래.
So I guess I should be trying to do that to get the marks out
13조
off the
이항에
field.
맞추려면 그게 체격이지.
물 넘고 꺾고 제철.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말투라니 쉽게 하지 않아요.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 덜
As well.
답답한 법이지.
Let's see what this can do.
타겟 포착 1시 방향.
Damn it.
공격 능력 평가? 양호.
어우, 제대로 붙였는데.
거스르기.
한 점만 노린다.
I guess I shouldn't. I guess I should.
조금이라도 머리통을 굴리게 되어서 부러울 줄 알았더만 요즘 연담을 쉬게 했지. 7번 수감자.
그 삶의 마침표를.
그간의 전투 경험이
먼저 빠진다.
쓸모가 없진 않았군요. 딴테 적합한 조치였습니다.
불가 위야. 막아내지 못하리.
Man, again, Nerve was just 1 HP.
부탁하자.
오케이.
거스르기. 지키기 위해서.
와우! 벌써 재료를 저기까지
네,
손질해둔 것이오. 오늘 공장 일찍 문 닫을 수 있을 것 같지요.
헤어내리.
Damn it.
바람 불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
너도 누군가에겐 아껴졌겠지만
후, 내가 있는 곳까지 흔들리던데.
네, 완벽한 돌입이었어요.
6-4. These are it.
불가 위험. 막아내지 못하리. 이제 깨우치시길.
그 삶의
완벽한 한방. 시원한
바람
걸.
불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
방금 움찔했어. 여기가 약점인 것 같아.
모두 누군가에겐 아껴졌겠지만.
내가 있는 곳까지 흔들리던데.
네, 완벽한 돌입이었어요.
Gotta finish off this guy.
타겟
Finish him
포착.
off this turn. We'll be down to one again.
깨우치시길. 개체의 유효한 속성을 정확하게 간파했습니다. 제 예상만큼 관리자님의 능력이 우수하다는 것이 증명되는 것 같아요.
이제 끝났네.
다행이군요.
너희들이 원한 대로 된 거 맞지? 아, 여기저기 부서진 것 같은데 저건 우리 직원들 시켜서 고쳐야겠다. 수리 대금도 받고 시민들도 금방 편해질 테고.
의뢰비랑 보호수당에서 사용한 탄환값을 빼면 오늘은 제사비로 손해를 메울 필요가 없네요.
Come on, I just gotta see something. I just like seeing this be complete as we go. Fable Knight, I think we're about to get Gregor's guy.
만곡된 직선을 직선으로 질주하겠소.
There are more sea terrors than we expected near our lighthouse, but thanks to Irving's lamp, the light which paralyzed the nervous systems, paired with the rather narrow passageways, we were able to handle them without much trouble. Also, as a control room was, like the exterior wall, mostly undamaged. Val shared the good news that the repairs most likely won't take very long. Esau was right. Fortunately, the inside is barely damaged. How are you progressing, Miss Faust? It is almost complete. You best prepare to leave. Get all radio darkness! Ah! As the tremor shakes the building with a loud boom, and debris begins to fall from the ceiling. Lighthouse's precarious floor suddenly collapses from the shock. Ah! The floor's giving way! What's going on out there? Something rammed against the eye of Iberia. I see aught shouting to the ocean surface. The sheer explosive war turning water into mist, and is charging us once again. As Esau noted, I saw a shadow of a dark figure through the ruptured outer wall of the lighthouse, charging ferociously at the ruined structure. There's that Canto 5 music again. Figure looked like one of those knights in the city's western region Don Quixote would talk at length about. Lighthouse might crumble at this rate. Then we had no choice. We had to stop whoever's out there. Faust, stay here. We also have to descend the lighthouse and... Lighthouse is almost fully functional. It only takes the finishing touches to have its light shine again. Which I can handle, so I'll stay behind. Seems entirely unnecessary to leave the rest to you. Much rather leave it to Faust, who's an expert. I read about that Seaborn before. The fabled legends say that he is the last knight, and those stories have any great truth in them. You're going to need all hands on deck to even have a chance at stalling it. You better prepare for a few days of interrogations once I bring you into the Inquisition. Your decision, executive manager? All hands on deck. Leave the lighthouse and mares. We have to put a stop to that night somehow. Waves crest high and violently behind the spear-wielding knight. We have to protect the already precarious lighthouse against the night. The night begins to charge at us, his steed split in the very sea. And I instinctively know that this isn't going to be easy. Or maybe not, Gregor's guy. One day, wheat grains he planted did not sprout. One day, he stopped feeling the scent of life between his breath. Thus he rides against the currents, hunting after waves. He seeks the waves, approaches them, and eventually brings about their destruction. Faint memories, having blinked through me as fathoms, flashed briefly before my eyes as Seaborn Knight wields his great lance against the surface sea terrors. He stares as though with repulsiveness, but he does not stop. He obstructs progress and covered lands. That is impermissible. This is the land. The Knight and the Sea Terrors don't necessarily seem to be on the same side. Perhaps diplomacy may be a viable solution here? This is Gregor's guy. Try to talk to the Knight. We are not the sea. We are not its waves. Knight's lance falters with doubt. Waves are the only things that hold aiming for him.
자, 됐냐? 저격수한테 이런 걸
敵の
시키지
調
좀
子が
마라.
悪くなっているみたいです
행색이 이상하나 그럼에도 이상이여. 내가 맞서. 내가 아시의 이상을 함께 줬던 호위
Hold.
이상이여.
Oh, so he freezes you. Huh. So he's Mr. Freeze. So I really gotta watch myself.
일기당천.
Looks like going certain attacks to hold. Once per skill. This is a hard one. Use that one after Isan.
시간 끌 것 없이 모조리 치워버리죠.
Shit. That's not good.
무상한 목숨. 불끈을 지원했군.
リンバスカンパニーの皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
You did not attack last night. Expired. Alright. It's gotta be strategic with this. So who also has 2? Otis has 2.
흑수묘 뒷박질 춤.
Damn it. Right, I should know that would count.
물론고 꺾고 제차.
So those clashing counters are not your friend here. Damn!
무슨 술술.
囚人に致命傷を確認。至急対
Just
処をお
let
願い
the
します。
assault upon night begins to slow. But do I have anything common with the night? Cold loneliness rides his bellow, insidious under the faint light. Or waves or rocks in his eyes. The sea wets our hems, give us no time to answer the question. Sinner Heathcliff's warmth reignites the fire of determination of the rest of the sinners. In that moment, Irene raises her lamp, showering the night with its light. Iberia's flame illuminates our path. Like the night, we're not alone, so we do not have to endure the chilling loneliness by ourselves.
자, 됐냐? 저격수한테 이런 거 시키지 좀 마라.
何か変化が。
I need 2 orange. Still need another orange. No, not retreat.
사격 개시.
Damn it. Not good. Isan's at 2.
이러면 쏠 수 있죠?
시야 확보.
Also this at 2.
皆さん、しっかりしてください。
I might have to retreat.
불가 위야
Damn it!
막아내지 못하리.
Fuck. doing so well against this guy.
무슨
모든 것에 견뎠어.
皆さんしっかりしてください
So she's speaking Japanese. So much more fucking.
일기당천.
여행엔 목적이 있었지. 지키기 위해서.
접질렀나?
잠깐.
Shit. This is not good.
皆さんしっかりしてください
날카롭고 정확하게. 차라리 아무것도 남지 마라.
Yeah, I'm getting a little desperate here.
타겟 포착 1시간.
한 점만 노린다.
Ah, that sucked. I kept it better.
일기당천.
I hope there wasn't a turn count for this one, but there probably was.
숨통 끊기.
경로 지원한다.
Ah, damn it.
敵が優勢です。状況を今一度把握し直さなければ。
One more orange.
헤어내리.
Oh, fuck tons of them getting close now. Shit. Let's go for it.
막아내지 못할.
먼저 빠진다.
エンバスカンパニーの皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
And let's see if we can finish him off this way.
넘고 무수히 넘고 얼마든지 쏟고 제쳐라. 내 앞을 달리시오. 아시다면
무상한 목숨.
능히 그리할 수 있어.
불그대 지원의 뿐. 짧기도 하지.
겹겹의 중
死亡どうすれ
누가
ば。
보이겠어. 타겟 포착 1시 반.
과연
カンテさん、なんだかただならぬ気配を感じます。
So this is it, huh?
1시 반.
기다려라.
사랑으로 정의 이름으로
차라리 아무것도 남지 마라.
適した攻撃でなくとも最善
That
の
right
選
spawn,
択だっ
the
たはず
violently
です。
winning steed. Lance races skyward, Knight races across the sea, splitting its waves. We won't succeed at this rate. Stall him, please, even for a second. Irene directs her hand cannon towards the Knight. Her aim and will undulates under the same frequency of the waves. We need not a moment to recover. Topple the waves, go for his legs, not the lance. Knight's fierce charge briefly wavers when Cinder Honlu jumps in his path. The Inquisitor capitalizes on a momentary opening. A blinding spark flies from her hand cannon, and Knight's thrown off his steed.
계획을 세워두면 이런 것도 어렵지
Dense shadow
않답니다.
pools under Little Knight. Sorceress of teeming flesh sliding against flesh can be heard from beneath. Are they gathered to defeat the Knight? Must have first gathered there, believing him to be one of them, until they came to realization that the Knight is a traitor to the Great Will. Knight leaps off for the surface, but the sea rises violently in response to drag it back down. The waves crest high, gnaw upon the Knight, crashing down to the water's surface. Leaps once again, the crested waves as stepping stones, belongs not to the sea. He stands tall against the Great Will, his head held high in eternal defiance. The unremittent Knight rides across the watery mountains and charges at us. Searing Isan brings the Knight's charge to a stop. Then the waves begin to crash in. Once, twice, right. But unlike Knights and Backstreets, the waves don't stop coming. He has always challenged the waves and is fated to do so for eternity. The waves will always shake the sea until the day of the night seek you. Knight's Corpus.
이것이 말의 행진이요.
皆さんしっかりしてください。
Marks Knight's Corpus. Well, let's keep going then.
흑승려 뛴박질 춤.
그 삶의 마침표를 마무리를 어디죠? 이 스며들 듯한 비 우산이 새지는 않나 모르겠소. 내 걸음이 빨라. 이제 도착했어.
지키겠다 맹세했는데.
하하! 이 수많은 소원들 중 그대가 이루고 싶은 소원은 무엇인가?
내가 죽어도 묘난
囚人が退却できませんでした。ダンテさんには囚人を蘇生できる能力がありましたよね。
타겟 포착 1시간에.
Get some fresh fighters in at least.
부탁하자.
오케이, 보인다.
I know I'm playing this battle. I know I'm doing this battle horribly, but it's like I'm just trying to get through it.
시험 바로 해주시죠.
지식을 마주하고 겸연하.
좋아.
囚人が死亡。どうすれば。
Keep going.
이 또한 지식이 되도록.
지키기 위해서.
Almost done.
칼을 칠 때인가?
나는 이 왕좌에 묶여 홀로 통치하는 자일지.
Mission accomplished.
Damn. I'm out of rounds. Lamp's almost out too. We're holding back for now, but we won't last much longer. No BS. I can last. Lighthouse, not so much. What difference does that make? Sinners were reeling from the battle against this enemy, who's more like a force of nature than human. Without giving us much time to breathe, Knight fixes his spear and begins charging at us again. It didn't take very long for the severity of the situation to dawn as I quickly began to rack my head with a desperate wish. What can I do? What can I do here? That's when, through the mist, a black space begins to envelop my vision once again. Wait, this is just like... And from the dark, light shines again. I reach out toward it and... See, unlike any earlier phenomenon, which is focused entirely and powerfully on Scotty, a single individual, who I saw this time was an unfamiliar place called Casimir's. This place is filled to the brim with things that Don Quixote could lose their mind over, like knights and their countless fans, an arena in which to test one's mettle. But the one in Emiya's thoughts sits far away from all that glory, in a very mundane-looking office. He wears a well-kept set of clothing, while his eyes are, with a slight squint, focused on reading a newspaper. Man looked more like an office worker than a knight. The most radiant part of that scene was a banner hanging on the wall, and a sword. Don Quixote was the first sinner who came to mind. Can she, our ardent admirer of knights and pursuer of glory, spin that energy from the sword as her own? Wait, no. He's different. He's... I need someone who doesn't pursue glory. Someone who can handle their own tarnished glory. The sinner who can detachedly wield the entirety of their bygone honor is... Yes, there's just one. I'll trust you, Gregor. Use this ego to hew into tonight's charge. Split the waves. Use the light to split the waves, huh? Here, your manager, bud. Let's do this.
이 검은, 이 명예는, 이 영광은 빗발이지 않은
I'm guessing Don Quixote was the first choice, but they decided later. I imagine this is behind the scenes thing. The incandescent golden blades of light surge forth, cleaving through the darkness of the sea. The night withstands and parrots each of these lights away, but it comes to a stop when the last of golden radiance cuts across the sea, looks in our direction as if to admire it. And finally, the lighthouse makes a low, resonant creaking noise before firing bright light toward the ocean horizon. Mayors has completed the repairs. Oh, the light returns to its house once more. Science all. Mayors is saying something. Like Oa said, Mayors was peeking out the window and shouting something at us. Vessel Massa is still near the shore, somewhere in the coastal sea. It moored somewhere by the beach, somewhere quite a bit distance away from the village coast. Confirmed. I radioed Dr. Kaltze immediately. Whew, that's all well and good, but what about that monster? Yeah, what if it charges the lighthouse again and destroys it? I heard talk during a battle, but I don't think the creature's capable of actually communicating with them. This would be a problem. Oh! Don Quixote! Wait, don't get too close to it! It's too dangerous! But before we could stop her, Don Quixote has already approached as close as she could to Seaborn, her eyes twinkling. She takes a brief moment to admire the knight and his steed, before asking in an energetic tone, "Oh, mighty knight! What is the name of thy noble steed?" Rocinante. Wait, she can communicate with him? Oh, I gotta look up this last night guy. Oh, just quite the coincidence then. My noble steed is also named Rocinante. Hey, look on the rolls. I got them all, and I'm ashamed of it. Don't ask. I broke a little. But I got him. Being limited broke me, but I got him. One who is not a comrade. They are a steed, you say. Wonder rolls, but nothing but a single dupe. Ugh. I had like 250. I spent my 200 on Honolulu. Yeah. I think for now on, I'm not going to roll except for... Like, I'm not even going to roll my tickets. Just to make sure, just in case something like this event ever happens again. Yeah, the cold mechanic was good. By the way, does this have a dungeon at the end? Or is it like a regular battle? Forsooth, a steed most fine indeed. It has served me well over countless adventures of mine, despite its appearance. You must inquire thee, noble knight. Wherefore dost thou strike this lighthouse so? Ishar. Blah. It was not the waves. Waves are darker, more raucous. Perchance there was a tad inconvenient misunderstanding here, then? Good night. I and my compatriots are now embarking upon an adventure most important. Yet with thy obstruction, we are unable to do so. 3 fights, then boss. It's a fast one, though? Okay. I think I'd keep going. I think I'd make this a one and done. Prithee, wilt thou return to whence thou came? I like how Don Quixote's just talking to this guy. Don Quixote regarded the knight with a stance that was at once courteous and brave. And the knight and his steed, Rocinante, stared wordlessly back at Don Quixote. Good bit of yapping about morality. Maybe I should make this a two-parter. My voice is tired. I know you just came in, and I feel bad about that, but after this fight, maybe doing a shorter stream tomorrow will be good for me. I don't know. Unless do you really want me to keep going? Unless you really want me to keep going. I wasn't sure if she managed to get through to the knight, or knight just lost interest, but we both departed the lighthouse, out to the far distance. So they really exist. Seaborns who hope for something other than just survival. Alright, I want to look up the Last Knight and Irene. These sound like important characters in the actual lore. I'm guessing Mayers is an original character. Wrestle angelic pipes? Yeah. Such powerful seaborns look at sea. Are you alright, donkey? Are you alright, donkey? I'm sorry, I had to make that Shrek thing. You should be thankful that it somehow yielded a positive outcome. We're going to fix that habit rushing forward without thinking it through. My apologies. While Don Quixote returned the knight with that bizarre conversation, Amir raised her voice happily as though she just received good news. What? Dr. Kaltze, is that true? What's going on? The doctors managed to infiltrate the vessel Massas. They're already done cleaning up the decks and now waiting for the rest of us to arrive. But it's been hardly 10 minutes since the lighthouse came on. The doctor is an excellent strategist, and based on what Dr. Kaltze told us, I think they already had some plans in motion before he activated the White House. Great. Let's return to Scotty and join them. We returned to the raft and explained what had transpired. Scotty listened to us quietly before replying in the exact same manner as she did before. Someone's going to have to stay behind. I'll stay. Go find the vessel Massas. You're going to refuse again if we offer help, aren't you? Yes. They'll see you after you retrieve vessel Massas. Let the doctor know what happened here. What an oddball. I did look up these guys on TV tropes, and yeah, I guess Massas really is just a loner. And I'm hoping that we get to see... so I guess this one's just to survive.
오늘은 제 사비로
Yeah, just clear
손해를 메울
stage.
필요가 없네요.
Yeah, okay, just clear stage. But yeah, 4 more. I wasn't expecting either. That's why I didn't bother setting up a voice party. Which, okay, my loss. It would have been fun, but then again. But yeah, I have everyone. Let me go ahead and see. I want to start buying some shit. And I'm not gonna play Arknights because it's only a mobile, and it's like I don't want to do that. But it is a cool story. I am liking what I've seen. Man, look at all the shit I got. Not bad. I don't think I'll even have to grind the mirror dungeon that much. Like maybe grind it for these two, but yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Yeah, but yeah, I did hear Arknights has an anime, so maybe I will be interested in that. All right, thank you for coming, my Core in the Apocalypse. With Cheska Hans doing part 1 of this crossover. Can't do a bunch of tower defense stuff, right? And 1 gacha is enough for me already. But yeah, I'll try to stream a good time tomorrow, but it shouldn't be more than 2 hours. Should be more than a couple hours to do up to 14, right? Right. And let me go ahead and see a few things. Alright. But yeah, great night, Cornelius, and yeah, looking forward to the ending. This is a nice one-off. It's also good that it's not essential to the larger overall plot. Right. Yeah, great.